All right, so this is Jillatai. Welcome to the Dungeons&Flagons live stream.
Yay.
The first one that isn't a test live stream.
Yay.
We'll hope that the audio is working properly. Let us know in chat if it is not. We were having some issues with that earlier. I think it's okay, but you'll have to let me know. We're going to go into our session 0 today. We're actually creating characters and getting the races, classes together, rolling stats, and we're actually going to talk about what's involved in a 0 session today. So, who wants to discuss 0 sessions and what is normally involved in a 0 session?
I'm up for it.
Okay. First of all, thank you for coming and joining us today.
Hi, everybody. My name's my name's Christopher O'Neill. I like the Dungeons and Dragons. So in session 0, typically in a role-playing group, is a sort of an effort to get everybody on the same page as far as what like party dynamics are going to be. It's also like a great place for the storyteller to sort of set the parameters of the stage that he wants us to start in, so we can all kind of make characters that make sense in the setting that the storyteller's putting forward. It's also a place to just sort of like brainstorm ideas and talk about like why you're thinking of doing this sort of background with your character, and then people can grab and pull from other people's stuff and sort of like develop their whole story together, rather than everybody making their own characters sort of in isolation and then being like, here's my ice sculpture, and setting it on the table and being like, oh, the floor is lava. It's like, go on. You know? So it just kind of helps with everybody kind of getting expectations where they're supposed to be, and everybody on the same page as far as what they need to do. I'm sure other people have other
This is now,
ideas.
this is now the time to say to your GM, hey, I really have claustrophobia, so if we could do a campaign that is not underground the whole time, that would be great.
Right.
And then you realize, oh no, we're going to Dungeon of the Mad Mage, we won't see the sky for months. Now is the time to have that realization.
Right.
It's also a good time to talk about, as a storyteller, like what you want to do or what your players want to do as well, because there's not a lot of point in running a game that nobody wants to play in. So sometimes you gotta, it's fun to find out what kind of, what type of game they want to play in and what they want to do, and then build your story through that. Unless you've decided ahead of time that you're going to do a campaign that's already written out and just follow that. Some of us don't do those very often, so like I don't. I like to do my own stuff, and so it's nice to find out sometimes my idea of what I want to run is not always what my players want to play in. So,
Right.
and then you can be amazed to find out that you can come up with a great story and a great thing, totally off of what they want to do and what you did not want to, and then realize, oh, this is cool.
Good.
I think in a session 0 too, it's kind of important to iron out all the details between the players, as far as when you're going to get together, what days are good for everybody.
Right.
Making sure that everybody's on the same page as far as what hours they're going to run. You have some people that want to run 12-hour games, and you have other people that want to just be there for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So it's important to get all that ironed out so that people can rearrange their schedules and things like that. I think I'm very fortunate in that I have a group that's been consistently here every Thursday for going on months for 4-hour sessions. And when we just start at 8 o'clock, we will be starting at 8 o'clock for the live streams of the new sessions. Hopefully you guys will join us. And what do you got?
It's also a great moment to set the rules as to what book are allowed or not allowed in the campaign. There's nothing
Right.
more frustrating than a player showing up like, oh, I bought every single book for this game, and I want something from all of them.
Right. Yeah. Getting all the any banned items or things out of the way.
Or if you're doing your own campaign, to set straight like the restrictions or rules that you have within your campaign world, saying this race is no longer there. This is unplayable. Maybe at that beginning or the start, or
We had a vicious outbreak of salmonella, and they hunted down every last lizard man. They blamed it on the lizard man and his
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. So you decided you want to be a lizard man for the next game?
No, not the, no, that was the last one.
Let's welcome to the stream again. If you're just joining us, we are going through our 0 session of the Dungeons&Flagons live stream. We're going to be starting Dungeon of the Mad Mage. We're going to preface that to get us to level 5 with White Plume Mountain out of the Tales of the Yawning Portal book. And I have to tailor all that down so that, because obviously it's much higher than where they're going to be starting off, because they're all starting off at level 1. But I think we should go around the table and I'll let you guys introduce yourselves and then we'll kind of get into the whole character creation thing. So do you want to start over here? We'll just start over here.
Sure. My name is Melissa, and I'm Josh's girlfriend. I've
it.
only been playing D&D probably. Well, this is like my second campaign that will go all the way through. So I'm newer, so I don't know everything, but I have great players to help me out. So that's about all I have to say about myself right now.
Well, and I'd like to say too that it's important for those of you that are watching that if you are new to D&D or you have friends that want to play D&D for the first time, to not exclude them. D&D is for everybody, and it doesn't always run by the book, and it's not something that you need to have a specific, that you can't bend the rules to make things happen, to make it fun for your players. So, I mean, including and being inclusive is what D&D is really about. It's about hanging out with friends and having a good time, and creating a story together. That's really the simplest way. Let's move on to you, man.
I'm Alex. I've played D&D for well over a decade now, though I've played other games. And I hate it, so I'll leave now. No, but lots of experience. That's Chris. He introduced himself earlier.
Yeah, shoot it.
Yeah.
I'm Elmo. I've been playing for a few years now.
And what do you like best about D&D?
What do I like best about D&D?
Why do you play D&D?
I am a storyholic,
Okay.
and being able to create a story with friends is awesome.
I agree with that. Nice. And you, sir?
I'm Jonathan. I've been playing D&D or role-playing games since about 8, 9, 10 years old, somewhere in that area. So yeah, that's about it. I run games usually, so it's very nice to come in here and be able to play on Thursdays and not have to just be able to relax and play.
Right. I definitely agree with that part. You're working a lot. It's a nice escape from reality for a little while, and you get to enjoy it with friends.
Introduce yourself.
And I am Josh, otherwise known as Gilletized on Twitch. I'm sure you've seen me. If you haven't, you will, because you're going to follow. I've been playing D&D since first edition when I was a small child with a bunch of older folks that were playing D&D back then. And, I didn't get a great sense of what it was until I started playing second edition. And then I kind of skipped the whole third and fourth thing. I played second ed, and then I took a break from D&D for quite a while. I didn't have, friends that were playing at the time, and then I came back probably three-ish so years ago and started DMing again. So, so that's us.
Yeah.
A lifetime's worth of experience at the table, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. So we're going to talk about how to create a character. I think we'll go through the character concepts, like you were talking about, I think, first, and just talk about what you guys are kind of planning on doing. So what are you planning on being?
I'm planning on being a druid.
A druid. And what race have you decided on?
I believe I've decided on a furbolg.
Okay.
I believe that's how it's
Furbolg
pronounced.
druid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Fearblug, actually.
No, it's not.
And was it I think the one we were looking at was like the Circle of Fire for the,
Yeah, I don't know.
was that right?
I'm gonna read it more into it. I haven't really looked.
Yeah, we're kind of looking at that, I think. But,
Yeah.
Okay. And for you, sir?
I'm going to be a cleric, domain of Tempest, and I'm going to be a Grung, which is a frog race. It's not in any of the book. It's a separate PDF, which I've conveniently printed for my DM's discretion to look at.
You have, and I have that right here that you can see if I had it on the right camera. But there it is, the Grong traits. So I'm going to be taking a look at that and seeing how that fits into the campaign. And we'll go back to...
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that I'm going to be playing. I got a concept that's built around meshing a sorcerer and a warlock. There's some interesting things that can happen when you can bust down a spell to a
Bonus action.
bonus action. And I'm also interested in playing with the Elven Accuracy feat.
Okay.
And I want to see how that interacts with the Sorcerer Wild Magic.
Okay.
And so I came up with a concept, found a goddess that deals with luck, and particularly trying to throw off the chains of bad luck, which would play into being so well advantaged. And then also with being a drow and a warlock, there's the whole darkness thing,
Right.
and playing into the habits of the race. And so I'm looking at that angle. And mostly why I wanted to play a drow is because they're coming out with new drow background stuff that's probably going to come out while we're playing this campaign. And I want to show I want to be able to leave holes in my character where I can put in some of that information later as it comes out,
Right.
and then incorporate that story into our stream. That's the thing that I'm attached to, is that concept. The rest of it is just like serves the narrative.
Right. Elmo?
All right. I am going to play a Lightfoot halfling, and I'll be playing a bard. I am trans, and I'm on testosterone currently, and my voice has started breaking. And
Right.
so when I try to sing, I sound like a dying baby bird.
Okay.
And I want to play a character that won't be sounding that way, even though
Okay.
I do currently.
Gotcha.
Testosterone. More like proposterone.
So you get to project yourself into that character.
Yes.
Cool.
Cool.
I'm looking at playing a Shadow Kai. Shadow Kai. I'm going to say that wrong so many times. And I'm looking at doing a Kinsai fighter build. I just think that kind of idea and concept is interesting to see if those two can mesh well. And I like some of the abilities that you can get out of both of those. But part of that idea has come out of the idea for the background of the character, which is kind of was left on the streets, abandoned, stuff like that. Get into more detail on that. But I think what's interesting is, as we talked about our characters, is the approach we've all taken to the ideas behind building our characters, which is different. I'm kind of coming out from a backstory story idea, almost kind of throwing in, a personal idea and then projecting it into a character. Chris is going from a mechanics and story idea that he wants to play with, and
I'm just
Alex
throwing
definitely
pop
come up
culture
with a-
reference.
yeah. But you come at it with, you have this character concept, and it's like, okay, now this is my concept. How do I find a class and race and stuff to put it into to play the character that you want to? And those are all very valid directions to come into figuring out and playing a character. And that's one of the things that I do like about D&D and role-playing games that allow you to, I've got this idea, I want to play this type of hero or this kind of villain or whatever, this character, and then the playing around and messing around to figure out how to fit it in. I think it's a lot of fun.
And if you're a new player who doesn't know how to, come up with interesting characters just yet, no
Yeah.
offense,
I know.
just look at the book and find, ooh, that looks cool. Oh, that looks cool, and just go with it.
That's kind of why and that's why I'm playing a druid. I played it before and I liked it, and I know how to, I'm comfortable with it. And until I get more comfortable with D&D, I'll probably just play a druid.
And all of us were there at one point or another.
Yeah.
So
Well, and like I told her yesterday, the more you play that character, even if she played it through the next couple of campaigns, the more she's going to get more familiar with those spells until it's just like, and then she's not even going to have to use, anything in order to like any of her apps or whatever spells or refer to stuff. She'll just have it off the back where she'll be the best druid in the land.
Indeed.
and then you can be like the rest of us and start forgetting all of it
Yeah.
and not remember how any of your spells work. Or
6 additional come out, and you'll be mad that all the rules that you now know have changed.
you can mix up spells and confuse them with all the other ones that you thought you've memorized over the years.
Don't I get a +2 bonus to this school? No.
Hey, Chris, no problem, man. Thank you for dropping through. We appreciate that. Friend of mine dropped through, said he has to go because he's working at 3 a.m. shift over in England right now. So he's up late.
Yeah, you better hurry. It's going to take a while to get there.
Stopped in to say hi. It's gonna take him a while to get there.
Sore.
If they
That's
get
a
the
lot of
Concord
sweating.
of Mothball, I'm sure he can get there in no time.
Yeah.
They say it's a pond, but it's really much bigger.
So I guess before you guys start, you guys haven't named characters or anything yet, or have we done all that?
I haven't gone.
Okay. Why don't we? You got your whole thing right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've nailed this. Yeah. Like you're like at this session 0 with already everything right.
I don't have stats because we're going to do that.
Yeah, we're gonna roll
properly.
stats.
Yeah,
But,
I haven't got my name.
So I guess the first thing I kind of wanted to go through is what we really want to do as far as the alignment part of this. So if we want to do if we want to do a good or if we want to do an evil campaign or what you guys feel like, or do we want to just do something neutral that could kind of go either way?
I'm interested in doing a heel turn to a face.
okay.
So when that information comes out about the drows being different, I want to be presenting myself as one type of person. But then when I find out either, some aspect that's going to be in the canned material later,
Right.
I want to change with that material.
Okay.
Either through magics or through
Or an event or
an
something.
event or something personal or having whatever patron that I end up being, finding out that
Right.
that was a ruse the whole time, but leaving that mystery quotient up to the storyteller.
Okay.
I think we could do something neutral where everyone kind of goes into the dungeon of Mad Mage with their own kind of intentions maybe at first, and then at some point we can have there's something bigger than us and we need to rally together for good or for evil or whatever. And
I
then we
think
can
in
have
the opening that I have planned for you guys, I think it's going to be very clear that you're going to be working together.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to have a problem getting the group together at all, or trying to figure out whether or not you guys mesh, because you'll basically do that in the opening scenes, I think.
Well, your alignment doesn't necessarily have to dictate how your group works together.
Well, that's true.
I mean, I famously played in a campaign where the best working group I ever had, where we were horribly evil. We were terrible.
Right.
But our group got along really well with our evil plans because we all realized in order to have them happen, we needed to rely on each other. And I think
Right.
that's the important thing. I agree with Alex. I like it a little neutral so we can do both. I don't plan on
Okay.
running an evil character. I plan on running maybe a selfish and out for himself character, but in the heart, good. So
Character conflict makes for great drama.
does.
So why don't we? So your character in the beginning would probably be evil,
Yeah.
of some sort, lawful maybe.
Typically the chaotic evil
Or even chaotic.
from, yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
I mean,
I know the goddess is definitely chaotic, but
Yeah.
all the followers are chaotic as well.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't have to be, but And I'm not looking at like the character at level 1 just having survived like a house fall. Isn't going to be looking to be very performative on the surface. You know, it's not going to be an obvious, like, I'm out here to do chaotic evil stuff. It's going to be like, I'm here to acclimate because I am now in sunlight and this is weird.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, I think during this heel turn phase, like, it's going to be a lot of like, oh, I don't have to act like this.
Right.
I don't have to be, you know, like a lot of what, you know, is typically seen in this
So
trope.
why don't we nail that? Right? So if we're gonna run sort of a neutral thing, why don't you guys just pick any neutral, except for Christopher, and then so you could be lawful neutral or chaotic neutral.
Look at that. My character
or
book that
true
already says
neutral.
neutral good on it. How great.
Lovely.
It's going to be very naive, you know, coming out of the jungle of Chult.
Or neutral good, I guess. Right.
Oh, nice.
Neutral good or neutral evil.
We'll both have that kind of like fresh eyes at the city sort of
Well,
thing.
yeah, you know, if you let me go off the background of my character a little bit. Basically, he's a Grongs are kind of like native of like big jungles and whatever. They're not really what we consider a civilized species. But the idea is some clerics and some paladins of Thor are trying to, you know, kind of go into the jungle and kind of either kind of tame it and whatever, but they got attacked by lizard folk, they're all dead. So the Grunk kind of comes in for like, hey, there's stuff there. Let's do some salvage operation. And my character found the holy symbol of Thor and got a vision. It's like, you're destined for greatness, you little frog. So he joined the order, and everyone's like, the heck is this frog doing here? And so like he's really optimistic. Oh, I've seen this vision of this thunder god thing, and I'm really into it. And everyone's like, okay, you don't even speak common, dude. Over there. And it's like he's really, really into it, but he doesn't understand half the things he's supposed to do. So it's like they kind of shove them off into like, okay, why don't you go to our mission in Waterdeep? That doesn't exist. And it's like, yes, I'll go there. So like he's willing to do the good work and all, but like he's still kind of not sure.
Right on. So you passed him already to Waterdeep.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's how I end up there.
Okay. And that's where the campaign will start, right? So in Waterdeep. So if your backstory is going to have something to do with how you got there, all the better. I mean, because we're going to start off we'll start off in a separate theme, but most of the campaign will start in the Yawning Portal itself.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, having my background being one of the houses that got eliminated in the Underdark, I was thinking the Brigand Dioptre, which operate in Waterdeep,
Okay.
would have smuggled my character out, so I could have a connection there.
It's fine.
Gotta get the go juice going.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
I get it.
You get the go juice going.
Does that sound interesting to you?
It does.
Okay. I haven't thought of a.
Something I forgot to mention when I was introducing my character concept, I really like the idea of playing a trickster type character.
Okay.
And when he brought up Thor, I remembered.
Oh, like a Loki type?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll be a follower of Loki.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
I like it.
All right. Cool stuff. We got alignments out of the way. What do you?
So I was gonna ask you, like, how are you going to run and do backgrounds? Or is it just gonna be like we just choose a single background and that's it? Or are you gonna do like the backgrounds they have that you can roll through in Xanathar's, right? And then the pretty awesome one that they have in Wildmont as well, which I really like the way that they did the backgrounds in that for
In the Weathermouth stuff?
yeah, I think they're pretty cool. Which fleshes out like your whole family, people you know, things like that you could do, gives you a very full background as opposed to just a kind of light background. I don't know
Right.
how detailed do you want a background on? Not that I plan on writing 3 or 4 pages, but
No, so I crossed out 2 that I didn't want to
Right.
use. The only 2 backgrounds that I don't want to use, and hopefully I didn't hit anybody with this, but the only 2 that I didn't want to use was the Acolyte and the Sailor.
Oh wow.
Be an acolyte soon.
You were gonna be.
I mean, it would make sense for me as a religious individual to be an acolyte, but I'm sure I can pick another one. There's not really like another religious background for like a cleric to have. I guess I could take Outlander because I'm literally
From the jungle.
the jungle.
So we could go with the Outlander thing and still keep all the religious aspects.
Yeah, that's still part of the backstory. But can you?
Yeah.
It would just be that you didn't get like any training. With the way that you described it, they didn't like you.
They didn't.
Somebody didn't like me. Just
Maybe
didn't know what to do with
they
me.
just handed you your watchtower and sent you on your way. They were like, "Yes, here, go, go and spread the word. Here's your booklet."
Yeah. Here's your basic, poorly fitting halfling armor. Here's a mace. Here's your book you can't read. Go spread the word.
Right.
Do good works. Bye-bye.
So I hit you on the acolyte.
Well, I wanted acolyte because that gives me an extra language. Because if you look at language under Grung, they don't speak common.
I
Yeah.
was thinking of either
So
urchin.
you can just
or-
give me a language if you don't.
I could do that. I mean, I think maybe after your time watching these other acolytes,
Yeah.
at the I guess where were you at a mission, like was it like a mission place or like where were you training at or whatever, where were you sent?
Well, it would have been like an outpost, like a mission on Schult.
Okay, so during your time in the corner,
Yeah.
while you were pushed out of the way, you sort of know common now,
Okay. Sure.
just by listening to them. And I would say that you probably have like a hard time with some common words. Maybe you can come up with that, like something that's just, cheesy as hell or something. Maybe words that you just say wrong.
Should I just do the French accent joke we were talking about because I'm a frog?
Maybe.
Maybe if it's from a sea shanty, he can speak that easily. A long trip.
There you go, and up she rises.
One of the things that people who speak more than one language is they can't always remember the word for something.
Tell me about it.
So they have to come up with other words to describe the thing.
Right.
Like, I saw a meme where someone couldn't think of the word silverware, so they called it food weapons. Things like
Nice.
that.
Right. So yeah, maybe it'd be other things, right, for that, or to something that would describe. in
What a
detail
great
what it-
resource to mine too, as far as like a character. Like when you were learning another language, you could just go back to that point in time and remember the difficulties that you had, and just apply that to this character.
Right.
Had past tense?
Yeah, you do really well.
Yeah, it's
you.
past tense. I'm pretty sure we can all understand you.
Do we want to do any sort of group element in our background building?
I don't think so.
We're
I think
just
I'm kinda-
be
I think-
Indians
I
of
think you-
Waterdeep?
Yeah, I think you guys can come up with individual backgrounds, and then the way that you actually truly meet and start to work together, I already have that plan.
Okay.
So that way, and mine isn't necessarily going to go off your backgrounds so much as an event that triggers it. So
Lovely.
I think it's up to you guys what you guys want to do as far as background stories and things like that.
How tied do you want us to be to Waterdeep in our background?
Honestly, enough that you'd know the main players in Waterdeep.
We all know the laws.
You know the laws, you know what's going on there, but you wouldn't have necessarily been there a lot. Like your travels didn't always bring you here, except for whatever reason you decide that you came here. In this instance, could you be from Waterdeep?
You want us to not be.
No, I think I think it's fine if like one or two of you wants to do it. I just didn't want the whole group to be from the city.
Oh, cool. With the things that I've said for my character, would you suggest a background to me? Hermit?
Yeah, I was gonna say that actually, but
Why Why did Hermit come up?
I don't know.
You got
It sounded like you
you're-
got outed, you know, you were
you're-
kind of like outcast from your people, and so you're just kind of, you've been staying to yourself, maybe, since you've been above ground, right? Maybe not, you know, because Drow are looked upon super favorably.
Right, but there's like a support group in Waterdeep for them.
I mean, how
True.
Outlander's not terrible.
Yeah, Outlander's not terrible.
would you be high enough in your house to be considered noble?
I like that idea.
Yeah, maybe we're,
That's why I got rescued.
maybe. Yeah.
I thought that maybe the Brigand Diathri would think I would have secrets that they would want to mine. That work for you? Or
Whatever you want to go with.
okay.
So, if you're just joining the stream, we are talking about how to create a character. We've gone through alignment and backgrounds. We're actually talking about now, and then we'll probably get into stat rolling soon. But let's see. We've gone through our classes and races of what they want to be. Let's see.
So my thought was for background, street urchin.
Okay.
So part of my idea and thought is that my character, being from the Shadowfell, some kind of event happened, and I was thinking that maybe whatever city I was from or something like that was attacked, and in order to rescue me, my parents knew of like a portal or an opening into the material plane and shoved me through it and ended up on the streets of Waterdeep, and I had no idea how to get back through. So I just grew up in the streets of Waterdeep, learning fighting skills and stuff from whoever I could, and I was shoved through with a book of training from a monastic society of religion and training and fighting styles, and that's the Kinsei, the way the Kinsei, which is, you know, all about weapons and stuff like that. And then I picked up fighting styles from people on the streets or whoever would teach me as I was growing up. So
Okay.
it would fit the fighter Kinsei build that I wanted.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, just looking through the traits, I don't have any issues with this at all, Alex.
All right. I am toxic even when I touch other people.
I do see that, and actually, I don't really mind that you're immune to poison.
All right. So something that Chris brought up yesterday when we were talking about this is if I just wear a glove, I could probably touch people safely. So I would have like a friend hand and an enemy hand with touch spells.
Right?
Friend, enemy, enemy,
Right.
friend. How you doing?
Yeah. Also, I'm proficient as a drow with a hand crossbow and stuff like that.
Okay.
And rapier. Can I just rub it on his head and stab somebody?
Rub the rapier and then do poison damage?
Yeah, we were discussing that.
Whether or not you could rub your weapons on him to
So-
gain
Because
extra
he can
poison
rub
damage?
his weapons on him.
As far as my action,
So,
So
can we rub
what?
him?
So what's your bonus? So what's your bonus when you rub a weapon on yourself?
so as part of an attack action, I can use to poison my skin. So the target must pass a DC 12 con saving throw, or they take an extra 2d4 poison damage.
2d4.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's half that
1d4.
for if they.
Someone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
All right.
Just D4.
So if you guys rub your weapons on the grung, you can add 1d4 to that damage. However, I don't think that's going to last too
No,
long.
it's per action.
Oh, it's per action.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and the only thing I would say is, you know, just so we're not trying to reuse that every time, I would assume your character would get kind of tired anyways of people just rubbing their weapons on you all the time.
Yes.
Like, wait, come here, frog. Like, I need to rub on you.
I have a name.
I really think it would be cool if it was, instead of it being poison, it was static electricity from the god.
That's a higher level thing. Rub the frog against the carpet.
Yeah, 1d4. Poison damage. So you guys all start off with a bonus there.
I'm
There it is. Oh, nice little bonus. 1d4 is 1d4.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
it is. It's all right.
gonna go with the undead world.
The undead warlock.
Yeah, out of Van Ricken's.
Okay.
Oh, Outlander does give me one of my choice language.
So is that's the way you're going? What do you mean for your your third level thing?
Warlock
Or-
is first level.
Yeah. Well, I know warlock is first level, but I mean as far as the undead warlock thing, is that like a
Subclass, yes.
oh, it's a subclass.
It's a patron.
Yeah, it's my patron.
Okay.
The goddess I was talking about.
Okay.
And it's more gonna manifest through the sorcerer route when I take the wild magic part.
Okay. I got you.
But she's about
Wait, do you choose your patron at first though? It's third, isn't it?
You get your pact boon at third.
Oh, the pack boon. That's what it is. Right.
Patrons right away. Because
Yep.
how else are you getting your powers?
Right. That's right. Good call. So let's see, where else are we here? I guess we need some stats, huh?
Probably.
As a trickster, would a charlatan background be better or an entertainer?
Well, you're a bard, right? So
Yeah.
really, either one of those would probably fit just fine. As a trickster, probably a charlatan.
Depends on
Okay.
what were you first. Were you first a bard, or were you a trickster first?
I imagine I grew up as a trickster and then discovered Loki and just
I would
clicked.
go for maybe charlatan
Okay.
in that case.
As far as stats, I think we're gonna do 46. You'll re-roll any ones.
And twos.
Nope. And we'll
Please?
do 7 rolls, and you can drop your lowest one.
How generous of you.
And while we're on, yeah, not really. But I didn't want to make overpowered characters. I wanted something kind of middle of the road. And I mean, if you roll well, you roll well. But I mean, I didn't want to make something that was going to be much easier to have high-powered characters right away. Something that maybe we can look at, as you level. Obviously, you can do ability score improvements and things of that nature. So those options are available for later anyway.
Twos, please.
No, you're fine. She's been begging me to re-roll ones for like 2 weeks.
I brought my loaded dice. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys can do stats and stuff.
generate 6 and then
Roll 7.
7 and then
drop
drop the
11.
low one. And re-roll any ones,
sorry, I was reading about the shadow.
which right away gets ones. So
Math. Do math.
they have to do math. Here we're gonna kind of put that camera on you. Yeah. So here we go to roll. You put all your good stuff on a character sheet, sort of like what I have kind of here.
Ooh, a 13. How exciting.
This is gonna be bad. I floored it and it was a 6.
You floored it.
I dropped the 1. It went out on the floor and it was a 6 when it comes back up on the table.
Nice.
Nice one.
Yeah.
So as you can see, they're rolling 4d6 right now, so 6-sided die, and they're rolling that 7 times. Any ones that they get, they're re-rolling, and then once they have seven numbers all put together, they can drop the lowest number, and then they kind of assign the stats where they want to assign them. just I guess I don't have
I got a 10.
I don't have a blank. I'm gonna borrow this character sheet real quick, but just looking at the character sheet, we'll kind of go back to that here.
That's a very
So you have your strength there, you have your dexterity,
16, 12.
your constitution, your intelligence, your wisdom, and your charisma, and all of that
I
goes in there
16.
once you get your die roll. So
My lowest was a 12.
Yeah, that's me too. I had 4 of them.
Oh, I didn't. I only had 1. Look at that. Huh?
nice. Oh, that's not bad.
Plus 2. And
Wait, what is that? 20.
I can't have
Why
20.
do you have 20?
Yeah.
The most
Oh,
you
yeah.
can have is 18.
You only add three
cheating.
together.
Oh, no, I added wrong.
Did you add
Yeah.
4 together?
No,
You added all 4, didn't you? Wait,
no.
what did you do?
I don't know what I did. I must have done that wrong then, yeah. I
Yeah,
probably
because
did.
6 times 4 would be 24 would be your top number, and we don't go that high. It goes to 18 max, so you only get to choose.
Yeah,
3.
I know. Okay. Yeah, I did them all wrong then.
That's all right.
Yeah.
All right, last one, number 7, coming down the pipe. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. Nice, 17.
Dex plus 2, con plus 1.
All right, that 10 can GTFO.
Let's see here. So,
So with Drow, do they get +1 to charisma?
as an elf, you get plus 2 to charisma.
Dex plus 2, charisma plus 1.
Yeah. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
It's going to be an 18 charisma.
Plus 2.
Constitution.
I
One
did
of
not
those.
roll terrific for my stat, but
I'm very happy with mine.
How's it coming?
Okay, so for a druid, I want to have my wisdom the highest, right? Or is it intelligence? I don't remember.
Well,
Druid is wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom, that's right.
yeah.
So,
First, wisdom. Followed by
Primary ability is
constitution.
wisdom.
and then constitution, yeah.
I got some fairly average rolls here. I end up with 2 12s, 3 12s, 2 13, and a 16.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
With my racial bonuses, I ended up very nicely.
A whopping 10 hit points. 13, 18, 16, 14, 14, 18. Wow. Well done.
Wow.
The +2 to Dex really helps out. 16 popped up to an 18.
Yeah, that does work.
Saving throw is wisdom and charisma.
It's a D4 for man.
wait.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm moving ahead of the class.
Oh. I was like, oh, D4. He's already adding his poison damage.
Yep. I'll be rubbing that toad.
That sounds like a euphemism for something.
So we have a bard over here. So the bard, your primary stat is going to be charisma. So you What are you putting in charisma over there? What's your high number?
18.
18. That's a nice number. And as the cleric, your wisdom?
16.
16.
Yeah.
And druid, you said you're going where? 16 with the wisdom?
16, yeah.
And then we have, what is your primary thing in spider? For now, level 1 or?
Fighter,
monk.
it's usually strength con, but I know I'm going with the multi-class idea, and monk is dex
Dexterity,
wisdom,
Yeah.
because that's how they get their armor bonus. So that's what I'm looking at. So my my highest roll was 15 with my +2. That's a 17. That is going to my dex,
Gotcha.
and then putting myself appropriate.
And,
The nice thing is, as a starting, you don't have to do that, but as a prereq, and the prereq for monk is a dex of, I believe, 13 or 14 or higher.
oh, where you got that now?
It's 13 for.
It's a 13. That's what I thought. I couldn't remember it was 13. I know fighter was 13 dex or strengths.
And as a warlock, it's charisma, so what are you putting in that one?
18.
18.
Straight up got it on the die. What are my proficiencies for saving throws as a warlock?
As a warlock, it's wisdom and charisma. As a druid, you're proficient in intelligence and wisdom. Yeah, you're looking at the same thing here. Oh, are you looking on the stream?
Yeah,
Perfect,
just
see?
made it bigger.
See?
Nice.
Book cam is coming in handy. Book
And we
cam.
start off at level 1 with a +2 proficiency bonus? I
Yep.
believe?
Yeah, +2.
Initiative. 2. Speed, I believe.
Okay, I don't remember how to do this. The pluses.
We'll get into
Oh,
that.
you're
in a
gonna
minute.
do that?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
go through that. Yeah. Did anybody else need to know saving throw proficiencies, or you guys all have that?
Are skills down there too?
Armor and weapon proficiencies I have here.
Let me,
Saves.
So I,
Strength and con.
I forgot about adding my racial bonuses to my
Your
stat.
ability scores? Yeah.
So I have a 19
Oh,
instead
okay.
of a.
Okay.
Nice.
There you go.
Fancy.
Oh, yeah, and you'll need to look at the
Right
furball
here.
stuff, right?
Yeah,
So,
I have it here.
about
We just
skills,
haven't, I
you choose
haven't done
to-
that.
Yeah, so yours actually will be in the first part right there. It should
What?
tell you,
Warlock?
yeah, ability
Uh-huh.
score increases. So your
Your
wisdom
wisdom
score
score
increases by
increases by
2,
two.
and your
Oh.
strength score will increase by 1.
So
you
it's
actually
actually
have
18.
18 wisdom, and then your strength score will increase to 15. So actually, we are getting some pretty high-powered characters already, so that's pretty neat.
Oh, that's nice for them.
No.
For them, you have like 8, right? Is that what's going on? What'd you get? Pretty middle of the
13,
road.
yeah, 13, 10,
And
14,
then
11,
intersection.
14, 15.
Okay. I mean, but not bad. Is that with racials too, though?
No.
Oh, okay.
I get a +2 in dex and a +1 in con.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, something's going to be
Yep.
good.
No, I'm not. I'm okay. I don't need fancy.
Fancy.
I don't need high
fancy.
stats in order to play.
Let's
I've played with
see.
much worse.
Alma?
Yeah, so you'll have to go through that stuff.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to be running with 6 on deception,
Okay.
so I can be your trickery buddy. If you need somebody to do street plans with. I think we might have another person that's into that too. I don't know if the Shatterkai is going to be Shatterkai.
That kind of Shatterkai?
Saying it right?
Shatterkai?
Shatner-Kai?
Oh no.
Shatner.
And the Shatner returns.
From the darkness.
I'm only having one viewer. This is killing my average.
And I'm your viewer.
I know, you're my viewer. I
Oh.
just want to
Throw it on my phone.
told the kids, yeah, but it can't be on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I can't be on the same one.
Yeah, I told my kids, I'm like, okay, go ahead and get on your phones and just set it off to the side, and they did it for about 5 minutes. They're like, no, I need my phone.
Where's Damien's kid? I thought he was gonna be in.
Oh yeah, I don't know, but yeah, he missed it. Maybe he's working. But yeah, I need my.
At least we'll have this to point back to when we're like, hey, that's where I told you I was going to do that thing.
Yeah,
You said it was going to be okay.
he said okay. Yeah, remember when you said this? No, I have it on video. Son of a bitch. keeps
Hey,
a
Gene's an isolating.
complete complete chronological record of everything we said during this campaign.
That was nice.
Intimidation. It's just charisma, flesh, strength. It's strength, so.
So it looks like our bard will be using light armor, simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords. Our cleric will be using light and medium armor,
Yep.
shields, and simple weapons. Are you using a shield?
Probably not, because I'll need a free hand to do my spells.
Okay.
We'll see. Or I might just
Uh,
hit my.
The druid will be using light and medium armor that's non-metallic. Shields that are non-metallic. If you want to use a shield. Club, dagger, darts, javelins, sickles, slings, and spears. Holy crap.
We have a new follower. 4 gathers.
Yay!
Oh,
All right.
perfect.
Actually, as a
Oh, yeah. Oh, 4
There we
gathers.
go.
Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. Stick around and join us through the adventure of the campaign here coming up.
I don't want to correct you, but as a Tempest domain, I gain access to proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor.
Okay.
Ooh, warhammers are martial weapons. I'm starting with that. Oh, do I have the strength for a warhammer?
I need a book. A player's handbook.
I have one. What are we looking for?
Well, I need everything. I don't know how to
Oh,
figure
how
out
to put all your
anything.
ability stuff in there? So basically, all of those are. Oh, here. He's sliding it over to you. So there you go. Ability modifiers. Let's see. We're going to look back here.
Excellent.
So in the player's handbook, you will find ability modifiers on page 173.
Oh, you're telling me to go there?
Yep.
Okay. That's cool. I was doing something different, but we can do this right now. Okay.
And so
Oh, right there.
yeah. So your ability modifiers will go right down the line there.
Okay.
And you already put your racial pluses in, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're good.
For
Yep.
both.
So all your stats are where they should be. So ability scores and modifiers. So when you roll a character up and you have your numbers finally on your character sheet, it's still a blank one.
New start with a shield.
So when you have your ability scores on your character sheet in the strength, dexterity, con, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma spot, there's little boxes underneath there, and some people reverse this, but there's little boxes underneath there to put the pluses and minuses in. Obviously, if you have low ability scores, you're going to get minuses on rolls for saving throws and things like that. And this little chart right here kind of shows you that. So you can basically plug those numbers in. So if I had a 15 strength, I would go look right here. 15 would be a +2. And we go right down the line and just plug those numbers in the little boxes underneath there. Your main proficiency bonus starting off at level 1 is going to be a +2. And so all of these proficiencies down below are going to be based entirely off of your ability scores on the left here. And so if you had a +2 in Constitution, for example, and let's just throw some scores in here. So let's say I had a 15, 11, 12, 15. I don't even know what I'm making. 17, 18. Okay, so our charisma then would be a +4. And we're going to assume that we already put our racials in here and whatnot for this example. But then we'd have a 15 intelligence, so that would give us a +2. We have a 12 constitution, which would then give us a +1. An 11 dexterity, so they're not so quick on their feet. But a 15 strength is going to give us +2. And then in your proficiency bonus section here, sorry, I'm left-handed, so it probably shows up a little strange. I'm covering it. But your proficiency bonus at level 1 starts off at +2. So now whatever you're proficient in saving throws, going down in this section here. So let's say this particular race, their saving throw proficiencies. Give me one of you guys. What was it? Strength and dexterity, or dexterity and con?
Strength and con.
Oh, strength and con. Okay, so for the strength and con here, and we'll cross out dex because we're not using that, but for strength, we would have had a +2, but since we're proficient in that, we actually are at +4. And the constitution here, we would go back down and look at this one, and we are at a +1. So we would actually be at we'd add that 2, and we'd be at a +3 constitution. The intelligence and wisdom and charismas, they would just all go off of your straight ability scores. So your dexterity is a +0. Your intelligence then would be a +2. Your wisdom would be a +3. And your charisma, and this is just for saving throws, but your charisma would be a +4. And your acrobatics, animal handling, and all these skills down here are based off these ability scores. Plus, if you're proficient in them, again, you add your +2 proficiency bonus to it. So acrobatics, and luckily on these character sheets, and I think it is stated in the player's handbook if you're looking for it. On these character sheets, they actually show you. So acrobatics is based off of dexterity, animal handling off of wisdom, intelligence, strength, charisma, and down and on the line here. So we would just plug all those numbers in, and then those ones that we are proficient in, let's say insight and religion, in the case of this character we're creating here, we would add our +2 modifier to that as well. So if religion is intelligence, that would be +2 plus our 2 here. It'd be a +4 in religion. And our insight is based off of wisdom. So that would give us a +3 plus our 2 proficiency bonus, which would then give us a +5 in insight. The rest of these, again, since they don't have the circles in them, would just go straight off your ability modifiers right to the side. So you'd have a +3 on any wisdom ones, such as perception. And then we have survival, which is a wisdom one. We have medicine, which would go off of wisdom. So, and you would just plug these numbers all into here so that you can use those when you're called for a check by your game master or dungeon master, or mostly it's GM, I think. But yeah.
Do you have a spell sheet?
I didn't print those. You can write them on the back like we did in the old days.
What?
Scrap paper.
You write them on a scrap of paper. You better look them up on your phone and get the app.
I do have the app.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, why do you need them?
I
No.
don't. Because I like to have them too
See,
written down.
I keep all my spells in my booklet.
Yeah, well, I'm not that fancy.
Spend way too much time doing that.
It's great though.
And I'm pretty sure now that I'm looking at the name, it's actually 4 Gathers. Yeah, 4 Gathers.
I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
I think it said 4 Fathers.
No, I said 4 gathers. You
Oh.
just don't know how to listen. That's
Oh.
okay, though.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm bad at the listening thing. I
Forgathers.
have really big ears. I just don't use them.
It's Forgathers.
It's for
Forgathers?
Forgathers.
Forgathers.
it's for
It's
information.
also
Yeah.
avocado.
Avocado. It's for information to come in and out with seamless transition.
Yes, that's why they're so large.
The wrong emphasis.
You're right there, Shatner.
So we've come up with class and level.
Yep.
We've got that out of the way. We talked about some backgrounds.
Shatner guy.
We talked about our races. We talked about our alignments. Our experience points, we start at 0. We are level 0 at the moment. This is our 0 session, and we have not really, you start up at level 1, but technically you're at level 0 at the moment.
You're a little zero.
The rest of this character sheet, you would have to put in armor class, which we'll get when we get armor. And we talked about that a little bit as far as what folks were able to wear and this and that.
I didn't bring my player's handbook with me.
Okay.
And if I did, it's really messed up.
Okay.
I need to buy one. Noble background? Would you mind looking that up for me?
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
I have someone to read my books for me. I'm so noble.
Yeah.
It's in that page. No, sir. No, nice.
We all serve you, man.
Sire, the peasants are revolting.
Let
I
them eat
know.
cake.
I know they smell like shit.
Swearing on stream. First offense. Christopher,
I don't think that matters.
yellow card.
I got yellow carded?
Yeah, I don't think that matters. Skill proficiencies for noble is history and persuasion. Tool proficiencies, you get one type of a gaming set. Languages, you get to pick one of your choice. Equipment, a set of fine clothes, a signet ring, a scroll of pedigree, and a purse containing 25 gold pieces.
So I got history, persuasion, 25 gold, a language of my choice, signet ring?
And a signet ring, yeah. And a scroll of pedigree. Yeah, you said that.
Roll of pedigree.
And a set of fine clothes.
Oh, set of fine clothes.
Yeah, don't forget that. You don't want to be naked wandering around.
Fine clothes.
Please put your clothes on, sir.
Are those your clothes? Yeah, they're fine.
Or you could be the what was that guy? The king with the
Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah, the Emperor's New Clothes with the invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now this says there's a couple of options on the background
Uh-huh.
on Noble for the advantage that it gives.
Oh, you're gonna make me go back here, aren't you?
Yeah. If you would please. Yeah. That's lovely.
Okay, what do you want to know?
There's options in Noble, I think. Further.
Position of privilege. Thanks to your noble birth, people are inclined to think the best of you. Welcome in high society. Personality traits, maybe?
There's two though. There's two possible with the Noble background, isn't there? One that gives you servants, and then one that gives you
Variant noble
status.
is a knight. The variant noble is a knight,
Okay.
but there is a
So under variant feature, there's retainer.
retainers under variant feature. Character has a noble background. You may select this background feature instead of position of privilege. You have the service of 3 retainers loyal to your family. These retainers can be attendants or messengers, and one might be a major domo. Your retainers are commoners who can perform mundane tasks for you, but they do not fight for you, and will not follow you into obviously dangerous areas such as dungeons. Oh, so that would be kind of useless.
No, it'd be great because then they could be doing stuff above in the city
Oh, while
we're down in the dungeon.
Well, that's true. Okay. Well, there
Could
was that
those, could those be contacts from the Brigand Diathre that maybe that because I had a noble birth that served me?
Sure.
So they're just people from or drow from Waterdeep that are in that house.
I don't see why not.
Okay. What's the name of that variant?
Retainers. Where are you at? How are you doing over there with your druid?
I'm just going along,
You're just going along?
reading the book.
Let's see. So we did the ability modifiers for the ability scores. What else do we need to talk about? On the character sheet, you would have movement. Most movement speed is 30 feet. Unless you're race, unless you're small or your race or something says something different than that. Your initiative is your
Dex bonus.
dex bonus. Yeah. Is that plus proficiency or no?
No.
Unless it's stated, right? Or is there something that's worth
There's a
stated?
feat that can give you
I think there
bonus.
is, right?
There's-
to initiative.
There's certain subclasses, and there's a feat that gives you bonuses to your initiative. Otherwise, it's just your dex modifier.
Right.
Even if it's negative.
Here, let's go back. We can kind of see everybody's kind of working on their character sheets and getting their characters kind of fleshed out here.
Do we roll for trinkets? Or do you not care?
I don't care. You can pick something.
Which circle were we talking about?
So that was a new one. That was the Circle of Fire, I think is what it was.
Oh, so it's not in this book.
It's not going to be in that book. As a matter of fact, we'll probably have to look that up later because I don't have a copy of it.
Okay.
You got Van Richtens here?
I don't. I don't have a copy of Van Richten's in hardcover.
I need.
Actually, I don't even think I have the PDF for that one. Which is unusual.
You can do a quick Google and look it up online.
Yeah.
What to do?
Oh, I can get it on here.
On which one? Or for which one? You're looking for the undead one?
Oh, spells.
And actually, here, we could probably look at that here before you put all your stuff in, because that may change some stuff too for you. You want to open that for me?
Should be on there.
What?
You want to open that for me and I'll look up your circle real quick? Oh, is it unlocked? Oh. Let's look up.
Am I still in the way?
Now to use it.
Oops. Trying to push the right one. I got fat fingers.
Let's scroll down. And here should be in there.
Nice. Thank you.
Yep. And then it'll change it below. So it'll list the entire class, and then within that class it will list your subclass.
Oh, that sounds brilliant.
Yeah. So you can pick 2 or 3 at a time and compare them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay. Ah, that's what it was. The Circle of Wildfire. That's the one we were looking at.
Ooh, what's that from?
It's one of the brand new ones that came out.
Oh, is that a UA thing?
Yeah, I think so. It came out in Tasha's.
Oh, okay.
When you join the circle at second level, you have formed a bond with the wildfire spirit, a primal being of creation and destruction. Your link with the spirit grants you access to some spells when you reach certain levels in this class, as shown on the Circle of Wildfire spells table. Once you gain access to one of these spells, you always have it prepared, and it doesn't count against the number of spells you can prepare each day. If you gain access to a spell that doesn't appear on the druid spell list, the spell is nonetheless a druid spell for you. At second level, she would gain access to Burning Hands and Cure Wounds. She does not, however, eventually get Fireball, so we don't have to worry about that. Summon Wildfire Spirit. So at second level, she can summon a primal spirit bound to her soul. As an action, she can expend 1 use of her Wild Shape feature to summon her Wildfire Spirit, rather than assuming a beast form. And the spirit appears in an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you. Each creature within 10 feet of that spirit, when it appears, must succeed on a dex save or take 2d6 fire damage. The spirit is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. See this creature's game statistics, blah, 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 blah. Spirit shares the initiative count with her, but it takes its turn immediately after her. The only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action, unless you can take a bonus action on your turn to command it to take another action. Let's see. It manifests for an hour. But I think the reason I was talking about this one is so that the actual spirit itself, the wildfire spirit, has a couple cool little features to it. It can do Flame Seed, which is a 60-foot range spell, and it does 1d6 plus your bonus of fire damage. And it can do the fiery teleportation thing, so the spirit in each willing creature of your choice. So this is kind of neat. This is why I don't know if you guys have looked at this one or not, this circle, but her fire spirit can do this once per day. I think it's once per day. The spirit and each willing creature of your choice within 5 feet of it teleport up to 15 feet to an unoccupied space that she can see. Then each creature within 5 feet of that space that the spirit left must succeed on a dex save or take 1d6 plus bonus fire damage.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Which I thought was wow. When I read through that, I was like, wow, that's pretty fucking tight, right? Because she could just take her wild spirit and an ally, one of you guys, and like teleport you to another enemy or something. And while she's leaving that space, the wildfire spirit's doing damage.
There's some Eladrin stuff that kind of works that way. That's pretty
That's
cool.
that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'll
I
be
just
neat
I,
for
I
you.
just thought that would be kind of neat. Yeah. And she just wants something that's gonna be badass, so we're just thinking that's badass.
Where do you find weapons?
I have weapons here. Actually.
I'm pretty much done. You can use my book if you want.
Well, I had Jonathan's, but I gave it back to you.
I have a question for you,
Yeah.
Josh, if I may. It says here under my starting equipment as a warlock, I get a light crossbow
Page
and
149.
Yep,
149. Light crossbow.
yeah. Would it be 2 out of sorts for me to try to get an upgrade to a hand crossbow? Since I am a rogue. It's probably a difference of 50 gold between a light crossbow and a hand crossbow is 75 gold.
So what is the? So 1d6 and then the light crossbows. It's doing the same damage. Oh, it's 1d8. So light crossbow is actually 1d8, and then hand crossbow is less. It's 1d6.
Yeah, but it only takes up. Yeah, it's there's the advantages are.
They're easier to fire.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Can I have my thing back?
What thing?
What did I have?
You are not getting the staff of the woodlands at level 1.
Yeah, can I have that,
That's not happening. That is not happening.
sword?
please?
And this is why we have session 0's, folks, because sometimes people want magic items that are made for level 7s, and they
Can I have it, please?
no, that's a negative.
I
maybe
think the
you'll get
last
really
time I
lucky.
got it like in level 2 or level 3.
Yeah, I know.
Really
Yeah,
early.
it was
It was
really,
really early.
great too.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Because I could do the thorn thing, and it was like a level 6.
I
And
know it's unfortunate. I'm sure you're gonna find some really cool magic items in this adventure, but
See,
you
better
do
be
not have that. at
You
this
have
point.
a claim check for it at the Waterdeep Bank, but they lost your package, so I have to go back.
Oh, here, look at that.
now you have it on the code, so I gotta put the code in.
Well, you could just swipe
Hold
up.
on.
Yes, the hardest part of a DM's job is dealing with the bullshit of your players.
Yeah.
No, it's putting up with the DM's bullshit. Not letting you have what you want.
No, that's the player's job.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, no, it's the hard part of choosing spells.
What simple weapon should I have? Sickle?
Dagger.
Hammer? Just to put nails and shit?
See, I would say brass knuckles. I don't think that's an actual weapon.
Yeah, it's not a simple weapon. It's an improv weapon or something.
Mm-hmm. You could go for sickle. Daggers are fun.
I think hammer would be probably more useful.
You could say you have a sap and just use the club stats on it.
Spears are fucking cool.
How do you figure
Spears
out
are cool.
that again?
You got reach.
So
The the attack bonus for the scimitar.
And the
Oh, your attack bonus, you mean?
yeah.
So if it's a thrown weapon, it's your dexterity plus your proficiency.
Spears do
If it's a
have
melee weapon, it's most likely your
weird.
strength
Strength
plus your bonus.
plus your
It's
well, these are both melee weapons.
so it's your strength
Well,
modifier
well,
plus
javelin is a thrown
Plus
weapon.
2.
and
Oh, yeah.
the javelin can be thrown.
Right.
So it's in both cases it's going to be +4 because you get +2 from your ability and +2 from your proficiency.
Can I figure out what else I get? I think that's
13 plus 5.
Hey, you should turn our cool Dungeons and Flagons thing towards the camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't forget to check out the merch site. You know, so you can pick up cool, fancy stuff like what Alex has over there.
The official branded Dungeons&Flagons thermostat, complete with built-in Bluetooth speaker. It actually works. I like it.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
Also, get yourself a sticker so you know who you like to support.
that's right. And of course, you know, other merch on there. Looking at the restaurant logo that I'm trying to put together a restaurant that does gaming, D&D gaming,
And just
and the Dungeons and Flagons gaming logo shirts, which Keebler has on over here. Yeah, you should have stood up and modeled it. You know, where are you at on this?
But still learn.
I turned towards the camera. You can see it on the stream.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
Oh,
You know what you should get? You should get a bot that just spams the link
Yeah,
to
spams
your
the link
store like
to your store, like-
every 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just throw that
Check
into
out our
the,
store.
No.
into the box.
okay, now I need.
You're I'm like that. Yeah, we don't want to spam. We don't want to spam. Already spam enough chatbots anyway. Actually, there hasn't been a lot of chatbots. I have the Magic 8 Ball thing on there, and then if you'd like the content, drop us a follow, that kind of thing.
So I can have.
By the way, in case you didn't know, I went ahead and put your phone on. Thanks. I just took it off the Wi-Fi.
Oh well, it's not actually doing anything then because you turned it off.
I didn't turn anything off.
Yeah, it went dark, so
Oh,
it wasn't
oh.
actually playing.
Well, in your screen.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Now it is.
There you go. That's, your screen went dark. That's what happened.
Yeah, so it just stops playing it. One second.
Oh, well, it probably does that anyways.
No, it doesn't. It's working now, or maybe it's
Probably
not
won't
playing.
stay on though.
Yeah, well,
Oh, will it?
yeah, I do that at work, dude.
Oh,
Dude.
nice.
What up, bro?
Okay, so I can have. Because I have leather armor.
Yeah, your little screen protector is annoying.
Well, you're annoying.
No, because it's like you have to like tap the hell out of your screen.
So.
And any other questions, or everybody's just working away on their characters?
Yeah. Sorry. This is probably the quietest this table will ever be.
Pretty much.
Drink it?
Huh? Oh.
Oh yeah. What about the trinket? You had a table though, right? Or no?
It's in the at the end of the equipment.
Oh, okay, okay,
It's just for flavor, but sometimes it can be a fun little thing if you wanna.
okay.
If you want to, like, if you want to give us a subtle magic item, we don't know what it is yet, and you're like, oh, here's a random trinket.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Or sometimes it can have some kind of fun like storytelling potential.
I don't even have the D100 out here anymore. I think it's
Chris, would you grab it? Did you
Put
want
up
to
over
open
It's not tiled dice.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, but that's not as fun.
He wants to roll a really big die.
I want you to touch those again.
More fun than allowing.
We have to entertain the people on
Can I
stream.
cleanse those dice now that you touched them?
Okay, all right, dude. Jeez, what, I gotta like wash them off or what?
You have to roll 100 on them. Or
We
depends
have
on the-
hand sanitizer somewhere.
I
You
got
better
hand
be
sanitizer. You want
washing
me to-
them
That's
off.
the kind of cleansing I mean. These are my player dice.
All right, there you go. See, you can roll that.
Okay, I know.
Short off to the
Two cantrips.
focus cam. Yeah.
Yeah.
A monstrosity. That's the D100.
Oh yeah, going right for Jonathan.
Run that book.
Oh, and it's
Oh my god.
and it's stop by the book.
That was the quickest
a
that thing
90?
has ever rolled.
Probably
92.
92. They got to stop by the book. So you have an ornate brooch of dwarven design.
I don't have hair. How am I going to wear that?
Well, you now have a
Cloak?
brooch.
Stab it into your flesh.
You can stab it into your froggy flesh.
No.
You totally have a cloak.
Armor, right?
I have chainmail.
Yeah, you've got a cloak. Just put it in your cloak.
It's mine.
All right.
5.
It's right there. Have that be the clasp.
All right. Sure.
You have a brass ring that never tarnishes.
Which am I keeping?
Elmo, you want to roll?
Anti-life
You want to roll percentals, Elmo, and get a trinket to start off with?
Sure.
We can do something with that later. Oh wow, that was a quick one.
6.
Is it 6?
Yep.
You found an old chess piece made of glass.
Nice.
My turn?
Sure.
Why do I get a trinket?
We're just gonna give everybody a trinket, and then I guess I'll write them down and figure out something to do with them later.
Oh.
It's so spinny. It looked like 75, but it's not.
I'll leave the book there.
Move the book just a touch.
68.
68.
That's a lot of damage.
So Christopher, you have a 1-inch cube. Each side is painted in a different color.
Ooh.
Looks like a little mini Rubik's cube.
1-inch cube.
Yeah, but it's only one cube.
One by 1 inch?
Yeah, it's a 1x1. See if you can figure out what side, how to put the colors together.
That's sweet.
I think you just turn it.
I don't think you understand what a cube means.
I don't know what a cube is, man.
You tell me what a cube is. I tell you, I'm the DM.
I know what a
you
cube
is.
I know what cubes are. I got one right here, man. I roll D6s every day, man, for lunch. Like that.
I just want to brag on something. My undead expanded list. My 5th level spells. Anti-life shell.
Oh.
And cloud kill.
At 5th level?
First level?
No, I get that now.
What? You get that now?
No.
Didn't you? I mean, I literally just heard you say 5th level.
Yeah, but he can cast spells.
Yeah. So that'd be what, 6th level? When can you cast 5th level spell? Probably 5th level.
Depends on your spellcaster class.
Yeah, it kind of does. Sometimes it's a little behind though. So,
The form of dread is pretty nice too.
Well, hang on. You're warlock. You won't get anything beyond 4th level.
5th level.
5th?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
5th level.
Apologies.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be slower because
You
I'm
have-
going to be multi-classing into sorcerer too.
You have 4 spell slots. That's what it is.
yeah, 4 spell slots.
And the sorcerer side, you can actually go higher level spells earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us. I see there's a couple new viewers. Just wanted to let you know we are in our session 0 of the Dungeon of the Mad Mage campaign. We're just creating characters, rolling up the characters, talking about how to create a character, and doing all that. And then we'll kind of, I think, for the last half of this session, we'll actually just be talking about what the plan is, where we're going to be going, and maybe fleshing out these characters a little further, maybe coming up with some background stuff.
I guess we could talk about some of the stuff too that we're doing on our character sheets. It's like in my center area, I put
Oh,
down.
yeah, I was letting you guys get some more on the paper, and then I'm going to go around again like we did
All right,
earlier. That way we can.
that sounds good.
So we can kind of go in order.
Okay, so crap.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, you're sorry.
I'm not really.
You know what? About that Staff of the Woodlands.
Can I roll?
No, yeah, you can roll. Yeah, you can roll. And, you know,
Stupid
I
iPad.
found out about that staff, actually. I was doing some research in Waterdeep the other day. And,
And it was destroyed.
yeah, it was unfortunately
Yeah,
snapped in
okay.
two by a drunken
yeah.
sailor who had
I'm
come
done
through
with
the
you.
yawning portal.
I'm done with
How
it.
about giving her the twig of the backyard garden instead of the staff of the woodlands?
I'm
twig of the
done.
backyard
You know, you
garden.
like that Staff of the Woodlands, though, because you always took advantage of that. What was it?
Was it
If
Mr.
you're-
Step or something?
No, the
Tree walk?
no, you could the stealth.
Yeah,
If you were
got the-
like
yeah,
really
yeah.
close, we were really stealthy. With
That was insane. That made my
Yeah.
rogue
It was like plus 10. It
stupid.
was like plus
Yeah.
10 to stealth.
Yeah. And I already had like a +9.
It was.
It was an
it was
unbelievable
great.
magic item to give in like
And
third
then the
level.
thorns. Yeah, the thorn.
Yeah,
thing that I
any
could
movement
do.
that they did. I mean, it'd be like a party if the party was druids and they all had moonbeam.
No, the whole party.
Yeah.
Such a great.
By the way, we wanted to talk to you about our next character. Should you kill these? We've all took a pack and we're all bringing in garden gnomes. And all it's going to be
Okay,
is moonbeam nuts.
I
So.
think I'm done with this. I don't know. I think the rest of it I need for this guy.
So, you know, that actually could be the back half of the session, right? Because honestly, I think I may have said that at one point, but I wanted to have everybody make 2 characters.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, 2 characters so that you would have a backup if this one dies.
Then I'll be ready next month.
You're doing great. You're almost ready today. Look at you. You have almost everything you need in there. You just got to throw some numbers on it.
Numbers mean
So making a backup character that, you know, obviously I would put some thought into that as well too, but I would probably roll up a backup because honestly, like White Plume Mountain, and my intention is not to kill you. That's not ever what my intention is to do. But I mean, I'm realistic too. So if something were to kill you, it kills you, and I'm not necessarily going to save you from that. So we need to be prepared in case something happens to one of these characters. So I would be attached to this character, but not be against throwing in your secondary character if that's what ends up happening. And obviously, you know, there's other ways to do things, right? So you could drag the old body along or something until you get to somebody who can maybe resurrect it or revivify, right?
Well, good thing you have your friendly neighborhood clerk frog
Yeah,
who will be able to do such things.
ribbit.
Ribbit.
Can we do ribbit a lot? Kind of like ribbit.
I tried to look online for a frog soundboard, and I
Yeah.
have like my cat soundboard for that auto campaign.
Mm-hmm.
They're terrible.
Oh,
They're not. There's plenty of hunting and mating soundboards out there.
but nothing really.
There's no like ribbit,
Oh.
croak.
Well, that's kind of sad.
I know.
Sounds like you've spotted a niche. Needs to be filled.
Yeah, I think we should.
I would love to voice act for your frog board.
Yeah, you should definitely do a frog soundboard. Post that up to the Apple Store. You could call it Grung 101.
13 cents.
13 cents a download.
Yeah.
I don't know that you can go below 99 cents.
Oh,
Right.
maybe not.
Okay, what's that?
Okay, so that's your passive perception. And your passive perception is just your straight wisdom bonus.
Oh, okay.
So, or I'm sorry, it'd be your straight wisdom, so it'd be 18 for you.
Oh, 18.
Yeah, that's your passive.
So I'm done.
You're all done? Like, I'm all done. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Well, that's awesome for you.
Yeah, see, this is awesome. See, you have players that have been doing this for 20 years. They knock out a character inside an hour.
Yeah, I
You know.
My secondary character is already at home.
Oh, okay. Jesus. Overachiever.
It's
Teacher's pet.
Sorry.
Although actually, I do have 2 skills I gotta. So I guess I'm not.
Joshua, have you met Alex?
Yeah, I've been.
Okay.
Okay,
You know,
where do I get these?
Which one do you want? Oh, personality traits and all that stuff?
It's not in this.
So they are.
With my druid.
No, I'm trying to think. They're actually with the.
So they are in that book.
No.
Oh, these things?
Yeah.
That's
they're in
with
the
your
background.
background, yeah.
Yeah, they're in the backgrounds.
They're completely superfluous, if you ask me.
Yeah, you really are. You can kind of just make them up, whatever you would want. But I mean,
Well,
to give
I'm
you
not
an
that
idea,
talented yet.
I know, but to give you an idea, so you would essentially pick a background, except for that one because it's acolyte. So what do you have there? Player's handbook?
No. I have this.
Oh, you have Volo.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll want to look in the player's handbook on page 128.
Use the sorcerer to my
128.
metal.
And then what we are looking at the moment is in the
Oh,
backgrounds
the
they
frozen
have.
and the criminal. Okay.
Yep. So you'll want to pick a background other than the sailor and the acolyte one.
What was it?
And then you can actually roll off these tables for your personality traits, ideals,
That way.
bonds, and flaws. Most
Yeah,
DMs will allow you to make that information up.
And I believe the way that's written, that's per
That's
bulk.
cool.
So.
Oh, I was a charlatan last time. But I don't know. I'll look at the other one.
Okay.
Did you figure out your armor class and all that yet?
Yeah. 14, 2.
Wait, where did you get your armor class from?
I looked it up how to do it.
Oh, so you were wearing leather armor and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I looked it up how to do it.
So
I can't tell you how I did it.
it's
Looked
10
it up.
plus the bonus of your armor plus your dex mod, unless you're wearing heavy armor, which is just
Yeah, I can't.
whatever the number of the armor is.
So,
So
yeah, I looked it up. I don't know.
the
It was studded leather.
yeah, 14 sounds right. As a chainmail frog carrying a shield, my AC
Thank you
is
very much,
18.
John.
Ah,
So
Without the shield, it's 16.
a druid furball.
so with the shield, it's 18.
What should a background be? What would be a
Leather
good
armor is
background
11
for a
plus your dex modifier.
neutral good druid furball?
A neutral good
Studded leather?
druid.
Studded
That
leather.
leather
12.
is 12, but
But-
leather is 11.
But nobody starts out with studded leather.
Oh yeah, no, it's not studded leather then. It
Padded
was whatever
leather.
I could. Oh, was it?
Padded or leather is both 11.
I feel like maybe you would be Outlander or Hermit.
13? That's okay.
Maybe Sage
What now?
for your background.
Sage or
Maybe
what?
Sage, Outlander, or Hermit.
Okay.
So one of the advantages I think you get as an Outlander is pretty crazy when you're in natural settings.
Oh yeah, you can provide food for up to 5 people.
And it gives you bonuses to getting like lost or something.
You know the lay of the area, so you just remember. You can't get lost in nature, basically. Sort of deal.
Oh, feature wanderer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were a cave furbolg,
Wait, yeah, I never get lost.
in dungeons,
I always know my way.
You would always know your way.
I would always know my way. That means my entire group would know their way.
if you shared.
If I shared.
If you shared.
If I didn't want to kill off one of them.
Like the evil drow.
But how does that mean though? You would always know your way. If I go into a dungeon that's laid out, I mean, I'm not necessarily gonna know whether to go left or right. Right?
No, but you know how to backtrack easily. You don't get
I
lost.
think there's a meaning of
I
it.
think
is-
that's better.
The
right?
meaning of it is that if you've gone across an area, you've been in an area, you kind of know the lay of the land. It's like you memorize the
Yeah. So you'd be able to
Land.
like map basically the way you're going and not
Yeah.
get lost on the way back. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that seemed kind of crazy to me if you just knew. Oh well, the way out is let's take a right, a left, a right, a right, right, left. As soon as you walked in there,
Yeah.
You
every
could
area.
you could figure out. Okay, we know there's 2 passageways this way and this way, and there must be something in the middle. You could probably do that. Things like that. I don't know.
My buddy was running Rhyme of the Frostmaiden. It still is. And I've got an Outlander character in that's also a ranger. And he's like, your guy just breaks a lot of the plot. It's in the book. I'm like, yeah, did they know that there was published material for the Outside Forest campaign that they wrote? Like, what? I mean, it just seems weird that they would write something that then circumvents some of the stuff. I mean, it's always good to have your characters be able to do cool stuff. But
right?
if you want there to be a reveal on something or want there to be a threat, you got to write it in a way where that wouldn't get in the way of it. You know?
Or as a storyteller, you know how to manipulate that and change that so that it is a surprise no matter what their skills are. It's
Right.
Like, hey, guess what? You don't know this area. You haven't figured this thing out.
Are you continuing to turn my phone
So
off
that
so
you
then
can
I have
have
to
a
unlock
surprise.
it? Like it was just fine.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying because it keeps turning off.
No, I just looked at it and it was on the
It
screen.
keeps turning off. It looks
It
black.
was just you.
You know what?
pressed
It's
the
because you
button.
put that newfangled device on the front of it.
It's called a privacy thing for when I'm
Yeah,
at
well,
work.
it's so private
So
that
can
when I
Alex
look at it
read
from the
my
side
phone?
now, yeah, but when I look at it from the side now, it looks like it's pitch black.
Exactly.
Stop touching
That's
it.
what it's supposed to do.
Conference.
whatever.
I'm
So-
just saying, it's
I'm done, and for those that haven't really done this a lot or have a lot of experience with it, I tend to write everything on my sheet, and I find that it is super helpful. So, like, underneath my weapons, I've got, type of weapon, my attack bonuses, my damage, and any other kind of notes. Like I have for my longbow here. It's 150 to 600 range and stuff like that.
Right,
I
the
find
range of it, so you don't have to
I
go to the
find
book.
writing these details out, even though it takes maybe a little bit longer, and you have to know how to be able to write small, and I just naturally do that anyways. But it's helpful to have it all right in front of you, so that you're not
Right.
searching through 3 different books to find your thing.
Right, and that's very helpful to your DM also if you're, writing some of this information down so you don't have to refer to the book all the time. So definitely a good positive thing there.
oh, I didn't roll for whatever we were rolling for.
Trinkets.
Did everyone else do that?
Just pick up the
Yeah,
big
you
ball.
pick up the big ball and roll
Can
it.
you, my iPad. Oh,
The twig of backyard garden.
Okay, wait a minute. Where was it? Equipment stuff?
It's at the end of the equipment chapter.
well,
It's going to
that
be at 34.
kind of
Nice.
just stopped.
34, huh?
Yeah.
You find a rectangular metal device with 2 tiny metal cups on one end that throws sparks when wet.
Oh! I get it. It's a 9-volt battery.
Okay, yeah, like he said, it's a 9-volt bat.
It's kind of like
Yeah,
a 9-volt
9-volt
battery.
battery.
You're a 9-volt battery.
But if it gets wet, it may arc. So just keep that in mind.
I was talking to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I can tell your devotion to your God makes you a 9-volt battery.
So, Jonathan, what else do you have? Anything else? Or you're all done then?
I'm all done.
Can I take a look at it?
No.
Okay.
No,
Fair enough.
I didn't get my dice out.
But I think it's helpful thing is to keep everything down, write it down. One, like you're saying, for the GM. I think it's very important, and it frustrates me when my players don't know what their things do. And I think that's an important thing as a player, is that you should know what your abilities do. You should know the spells, what they do when you're casting them.
Right.
You should know how your abilities work ahead of time, not as you're doing it in the turn.
Right. No, I agree. I think it saves a ton of time. I mean, if you're only playing a 2-hour session, and for some of those people that go and play like at game shops and stuff like that, where you're only playing 2 hours or something,
Yeah.
It's super important to be able to maximize the usage of that time. We're a little more fortunate because we're doing a home session, so we can kind of, dick around with it a little more. But
Yeah, but even in a home session, it's still
right,
and it's
time consuming and it takes
yeah.
away from the game.
And it's also thoughtful for the other players around the table that, I'm sitting here, and because I'm a person that thinks, 3 steps ahead, and that I've already got my action planned out,
Right.
and I'm ready to go, I have to now sit here and also wait for my other player who's not being bothered to pay attention or
Right.
be ready
Well,
for his
I think
turn.
that's another important thing too.
It's
Like at this 0 session, and I noticed that at the last campaigns we've been running, of course, obviously we weren't live streaming them or things like that, but trying to stay off your phones as much as possible.
I use my phone
especially
for
during the.
spells.
I know you
Yeah.
use your phone for spells, and I get that to look it up, but I mean, again, being prepared and having that stuff either on your character sheet or knowing what your skills are going to be like,
Yeah. And I do use my phone a lot for keep all my spell. Like, I got spell app on there and stuff like that.
Right, but I'm sure, like, even the viewers probably have seen, like, people that are just sitting at their table and they're looking at their phone.
Oh, yeah.
Really, they're just scrolling Facebook or whatever they're doing during the middle of the game, and that just honestly, it deters from the game, and it detracts away from not only other players but then your DM's time, who's spent a bunch of time to get things together. And
On that note, I would like to follow Jonathan's advice. Could you look up the hand crossbows distance for me?
Yeah. See? Just player's handbook right there. think that you
So hand crossbow's distance is 3120.
30 short,
Yep, 30 short, 120 long. No, it's the 30 long and 120 short.
120 short.
But that's only if you fire it straight up in the air.
And my rapier is
1d6.
melee.
Uh,
Piercing.
it is 1d8 piercing. It is a finesse weapon.
Here.
Yeah, I'll take a look at your character book. And you even have the little photo in there.
Yeah, it's just the right size for
So
war.
let's go over here. Let's look real quick. This guy, he spent a bunch of time putting this together. We should put this on stream. So he's made a little character booklet.
Well, I bought the character booklet.
Yeah,
for
or
field notes.
bought a little character booklet. He even put our sticker on the front of it. But and he's got his little photo in there of his grung, and then all of his little
It's
information.
this miniature.
Is the well, yeah, we'll do those. I'll have them on the stream at some point. So wait, does it actually have? Oh, here we go. Here's
Yeah,
the
it's-
actual character sheet, all out in the booklet. Where did you get these from? Like you can find these.
I found them. I saw them on their website, but I bought it from Amazon. They come in 2 packs, $16. So it's on the pricier side.
Mhm.
And it's 1 character per booklet. So
Okay, so it's like basically $8 a character. if you
Yeah.
wanted to write up a book.
rough, but
Yeah.
hey, if you're doing a fancy character, you know it's gonna last, and you kind of want to oomph it up a little bit.
So you're really hoping that this guy doesn't die in the first like 2
Oh yeah, I have plans. The little frog that could.
Yeah. But no, that's pretty neat. And then he's got more pages he can put in. Obviously, he's got like his instruments. Let's see, his light, and medium, and heavy armor, things like that. So you
Yeah.
can list everything out.
Yeah, every level you can have your DM sign it off as well. There's a box.
There's a little sign off.
Yeah, right there. So per level.
Oh
so-
yeah, GM sign off. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
So you can-
So this has notes for every level.
yeah.
Okay, so everything that happens during level 1, you could chronicle that.
Yeah, I put in my my class feature because I didn't know where else to put it. But like you can, if I take important notes, there's like pages for treasures that I attuned
What
to.
is the Wrath of the Storm?
That's my domain ability. It's a reaction. If someone attacks me and hits, I can react and be like, no, you take 2d8 thunder damage.
Okay. Or it's lightning damage.
Or yeah, it's thunder or lightning.
And you get 3 per long rest. Huh?
Yep. Well, it's my wisdom modifier, which is 3.
So does it negate the attack against you?
No, it's a reaction. It's kind of like Hellish Rebuke.
Okay.
So like
Alright.
you hit me, I hit you back.
I gotcha. Okay. But yeah, pretty neat, and you can see, and I've done these myself. But I mean, obviously, if you really love D&D, you love like going through and putting everything in the most minute detail. Pretty neat. These little booklets.
it's all the stuff on the left hand side of that.
My redacted information and
Yeah.
there's some-
Oh yeah. Just so we can put it on stream.
Yeah.
Probably right. So-
there's like some helpful spells things. There's also like the actual table of contents, so you know which page is what. And if you look at the last page, there's more useful stuff as well on the back cover.
Okay, so it's got an alignment table. It's got
Has a ruler.
how combat works.
Yeah.
Practical applications.
If you're a new player, it's a really handy like reference table.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, and even on the front, it talks about exhaustion and how that works.
Do they make those for other games as well, or just D&D?
Just Unity. I should be
64 page.
And there's one
Really?
for campaigns as well. So you can put a campaign in
Oh,
someone notebook.
well, that's cool.
They have the OGL at the back of it for some reason. If you really need to know.
You might
You might need-
might be part of a puzzle.
Is this for me to actually look at?
Yeah.
Is that why you put it over here now? I thought you were serious. You don't want me touching your dice. You don't want me touching
Dice
your
are one
character.
thing.
You know what? I'm just gonna start.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna start grabbing.
That's fine. I
For those
destroy
who
your
don't-
campaign from inside.
Let's talk dice superstitions a little bit, shall we? In some circles, people are really suspicious about their dice and don't want other players to touch them. There's a ritual of cleansing, in which involves rolling your dice until you hit the highest value, or the lowest value, whichever you prefer.
Yeah.
It's really try and cleanse that thing.
Yeah. There's also the Hackmaster cleansing, where they rub the dice on Gary Gygax's name.
So I didn't write it all down on my sheet because I'm going to type it on my computer and then I'm going to print out a sheet. It'd be
Okay.
a lot easier for me to type than write small.
To do what?
To write some of the stuff down that I need, like you
Oh,
would
good idea.
think.
Oh, okay.
So
So you're gonna type it up and put.
I'm
it on
going
the
to type it
subscription.
up, print out a sheet, yeah,
Okay.
with all the stuff that I need because I can't type or whatever.
All the
write
standard
very
stuff.
small.
Look, 10 pitons, crowbar, 10 torches, hammer,
All the
tinder
stuff
box,
that's in my pack.
all the good stuff.
You gotta remember that it's there, because sometimes it's super useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to write all that stuff out.
Disguise kit, thieves tools, Bay Ancestry. That's from the.
Oh,
Health thing, right?
you were looking for
Oh,
those.
yeah. I mean, it's good to have,
Because they are.
so I don't have to look at my phone all the time, apparently.
Blessing of the Raven Queen. So that comes from the
Race.
Shadow Archive.
Yep. Because they are servants of the Ravens.
So your bonus action, you can teleport 30 feet.
Yep.
Okay.
One's for long rest, I think.
Now, does that save you if you're teleporting out of combat? Does that still allow a?
Reaction?
Mhm.
No. Not an attack of opportunity, anyways. I mean,
Oh, it
it may,
doesn't.
may cause a reaction. I don't know what your creature could do, but
Okay.
does not allow attack of opportunity.
Okay, that's what I was curious about.
Yep. Teleporting and forced movement does not.
So really, with her, if she has that fiery spirit thing that can
Oh,
teleport,
I haven't done that either. I haven't put that on here.
can teleport a player too, then we have 2 teleporters in the game.
Yeah, but I can't teleport.
What is that
anything else,
called?
just myself.
So I can look it up.
And then at third level, when I
Um,
teleport, I become resistance to
Oh, you
Yeah,
put it on my
put it on
one
Google.
turn. For the
Yeah.
remainder of that turn.
That's nice. So the
Or
dragon
you can
reels
put it on
up to
Google.
Nova Strike, and you're just like, what?
Yeah. If I get the chance
summon-
before he does.
Oh, wait, what's, what
Yeah.
do you got on this one?
Oh, nothing. Just my height, weight,
Oh, okay.
Oh, circle wildfire.
vitals.
You're blue with turquoise hair.
Blue and turquoise.
One of the
Alright.
things I do with my spells, since I can't write small enough to get all the information out there, is I put the first letter of the book that the spell came out of down, and then I put the page number down.
Oh,
So that way I know what book to
Wow.
go
It's a
to.
reference.
yeah, spells
Yeah.
are on my phone, which I usually don't. Yeah, but he doesn't want us to be.
Hey,
You can use your for spells. It was more a comment about
Being on
how
Facebook.
players, how players at your table will just kind of jump on their phones and do other things.
Yeah,
Like,
I use mine
Oh,
for dating.
hi, what's going on?
Play video games.
He's like, well, it's just checking my
Yeah, no,
Instagram.
I use mine strictly for game.
But yeah, it's just a courtesy thing to your other players. And
I've created my own shorthand for my spells and stuff like that I fill out on my spell list, and then sometimes it's so short that I don't even know what it says.
and quite honestly,
Yeah, I like those apps that we have. I have like 3 apps for spells. So
that magic missile spell that
Jim's
Jim's Dark Magic.
he was using last time. I really like that.
Mhm.
It's in the list.
Yeah,
Oh, it's not in your list.
not on
Warlock.
your list.
Yeah, it's sorcerer.
Oh, sorcerer? It might be should be in sorcerer list.
Okay.
But you're first level, you're a warlock though, right?
Yeah. But I'm looking. I want to be able to have access to that later.
Oh, to Jim's dark magic missiles.
Yeah. Would that be a possible?
Why not? It's in the spell list.
Yeah, I don't see why it's a problem.
Okay.
How about Delmarup's fire missile?
Delra, that is also on the spell list. It has been added since the last campaign.
Be just like magic missile, except for it's fire instead of force.
did you want those little cards?
And you
filled
pay
out?
me.
Oh yeah.
Well, you
we're
pay
gonna do
Delra.
that, too. Yeah.
That's good. What was I looking at?
Chaotic neutral.
Yes.
Not have brought my other.
Pretty standard stuff. Leather armor, dagger, entertainer's back. Old chest piece made of glass. Halflings, they're lucky, right? Can reroll ones on attack ability or saving throws, so that's kind of neat. Looks pretty good. So if you're just joining us, I saw we had a couple new people drop in. At least one. But we are doing our session 0 for the new campaign. It's going to be Dungeon and the Mad Mage, prefaced by White Plume Mountain out of the Tales of the Yawning Portal. We were just creating characters and going over how to do that and talking about what a session 0 is and getting the campaign together to actually start running. So that's what tonight is about.
Did we want to talk about names? Did everybody their names? I mean, I had mentioned that earlier, but I didn't know if anybody else wanted to talk about it or
About how to
did we
create
all
a name?
come up with their names and stuff like that.
I mean, mine is my Twitch name, so
You're just going to be Keebler?
yeah.
You're just going to be Keebler.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're playing a the largest elf.
You're like Will Ferrell on Elf.
Yeah, exactly. And Will Ferrell.
You will eat my cookie.
How do you come up with names for yourself? Do you look up online, or how do you end up doing it?
I struggle with coming up with names for my characters a lot, and NPCs as well. I like a name app. I've got a name generator app that I like, and it's got a lot of choices to it and stuff like that, so I use that. Or Back of the Book was really cool. That's actually where I got my name for that, was just looking through that. But I like to go over many lists. I also like to like human name lists as well, you know, like the different cultures and stuff like that, their typical naming devices. And,
Well, one of mine was
Thanks.
for Furbolg was Kara. That's
Yeah.
a human name.
yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't have, who's to say that that's not a Furbolg name?
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be a furball name.
I
We don't
mean-
know any furballs.
Yeah, if they want to come up and tell us that is definitely not a Furbolg
Yeah,
name,
that was
that's
one of
fine.
the suggestions in the book.
Uh,
No, Google.
So while you're mentioning that, I'll just kind of show this to any of the viewers out there. But so this is actually a character naming table. And this is what I do with a lot of my NPCs. It has dwarves, elves, halflings, half-orcs, humans. And then you can go through for male and female names. And it's basically a D100 table. So if you want to roll it, you can, or you can just pick from it. For like, let's see, elf. Let's see, we were coming up with yours. I don't have furbolgs on there. Let's see, who else do I have? Pretty much elves, right? We don't have any, or we have a halfling. So for male halflings, the male.
Yes.
So male halflings names, I have stuff like Bungo, Birdie, Corin, Danley, Dominic, Finway, Happer, Hobbs. It could be like Calvin and Hobbes. Kiram, Bo, Alton, Allen, Aiden. So quite a few on there, but you just kind of go down the list. And there's actually, well, there's a lot more here too as we get into the M's and the P's. So there's like Pavel, Ponto, Resh, Sap. So, but I just kind of use one of these in order to come up with NPC names on the fly. So usually if the characters are running into some situation where they're going to have to run into an NPC that I had not planned for, then I generally use this table to come up with a name. Usually that's something like innkeeps or, or somebody who might be in an inn or a tavern, or, a lot of times like you like to go to libraries to do studying and things like that. So if I, like a couple times I came up with librarian names off of this. But anyway, that's what I use, and you can Google things. There are definitely a lot of different tables out there for
Yeah,
that.
there's a ton of name generators out there. And even if you look on the first DM screen they had, they've got a syllable
Hmm.
So you just roll, like, I think it's 2d20 or 3d20, and then it, depending on which one you roll in order or whatever. I usually roll them all at the same time, and it's just whichever falls in order.
Right.
Then I choose, and it picks like your first syllables, your middle syllable, and your last syllable based on the number of the d20. And that actually works out pretty quick. I mean, pretty easy, pretty quick, and I've come up with, I think, pretty half decent names sometimes.
Right.
I don't know, my players, some of my players could chime up and say whether or not my names are terrible or horrible or what. I know some of them are, but
So remember that innkeeper named Fleck? I had a problem with that.
I don't doubt it.
So, well, but here's the other thing: is it's neat that you can actually just go back into history too, and you can use like historical names or things that are old school, you know, or you can go into even religious texts. You can take things out of the Bible. Lazarus, for example. Yeah, my character in the other campaign. But yeah, you can pretty much pull them from anywhere. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to come up with names for characters for sure. What else do we need to talk about in a 0 session as far as character creation?
You had Drow elf names on that chart?
I don't have drow. I have elves. You could probably just pull off the elves.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the book, they just listed drow.
But they do have
but
female
they
and
didn't
male
do, like,
names on
separate
there.
ones.
So I mean, you can kind of look through the list of the
I do on my app.
on your app. You have an app for that?
I do.
You want to hit random on your app and give me a name?
Yeah, I use Fang Fantasy Name Generator. FANG. Let's see.
I think I've used that for like World of Warcraft names before and stuff.
Yeah, because they've got a whole list here of
Mm.
like different things, which is pretty cool. D&D Drow.
If you're just joining us, welcome to the stream. We are talking about Dungeon of the Mad Mage, which will be our next campaign. We are doing our session 0 and creating characters for that campaign now. We will be using animated maps and also set pieces, which are going to be provided by Jonathan here, to do the preface to the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. So there'll be some pretty cool stuff we're going to be doing. Make sure to drop a follow so you can come back and check that.
Name is actually.
Oh, hey Magi, how's it going there, buddy? Glad you could drop in on us.
So, yeah.
But
For names, the back of Xanathar has a lot of cool tables as well.
oh, okay.
Yes.
Back of Xanathar's guide. So
Yeah, that's where I found my name actually for this. Cluthru L Prog or Prof. Yeah, how you want to pronounce the GH?
the GH.
Does it start with a Q?
No, it starts with a K. ALU, Clue.
Through.
It's gonna be your
I
nickname.
have homework to do. Type the stuff up.
Yeah, you're gonna have homework to do.
I have plenty of time to do it. You work a lot.
Forget about. Well, no, I quit.
We want to make sure that we
You're
should
quitting
go around
GMing?
and
Oh my god.
Wait.
Yeah, no, I quit.
give out our names. For
It's actually on you. You're DMing this campaign. I don't know if we told you that or.
Good luck.
I'm playing a female.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should break real quick and then come back. Maybe take 5 minutes or something out.
Yeah.
You guys good with that?
Taking a break? Yep.
So we will be right back. We are going to take a break real quick, and then we will get back into some character creation and talk about the next campaign. We'll see you in a few. Magi, hang in there. We're going to be right back.
Smoking trees, smoking trees.
Did you mute them?
knew that was going to happen.
All right.
We're ready.
Yeah, I know. Well, I got it. And now they got it too because my mics were live. Hey, so we are back, guys. We just took a quick break. We are talking about how to create a character and getting ready. We have our session 0 going for our Dungeons and Flagons gaming live stream. We're going to be doing Dungeon of the Mad Mage, prefaced by White Plume Mountain out of the Tales of the Yawning Portal. We are creating characters. We've done ability scores. We pretty much come up with everything now. Ability scores. You have weapons. You guys have your armor classes, races, classes. They were talking about names before we took a break and how to find names. If you just popped into the stream, thank you for coming in and joining us. Should be great things in the future to come from this group. I think we'll be doing some cool stuff here. So.
Oh, my pop.
Oh, so open it. It doesn't matter. The mics are live. It's fine. I'm sure everybody knows that. Comes up. There you go. Did it together.
It's tandem.
It was a help action. So, so thank you very much for checking us out. We appreciate any support that we can get. I'm Gelatized. I stream on Thursdays and Fridays generally. Otherwise, I stream on weekdays during the morning. Usually, I do MMOs, RPGs, RTS games. I try to focus on new games that just came out or pre-release or early access games. So you can always check me out on Twitch at this channel. So, but thank you. And let's see what we were talking about. We wanted to go to backgrounds.
We were talking about fleshing out.
Okay. So,
Well, does anyone else want to share if they're on any kind of media? Well, you were just talking about you being on Twitch. Anyone else want to share that?
no, you
No.
know,
I don't exist online.
where do you exist online? Facebook, yes.
What else?
Yeah, I got a Facebook. Christopher Michael O'Neill. I think I'm the only one in Council Bluffs.
Perfect. Any of you guys want to share any social medias? Like, I don't want people on my social media.
I'm good. I actually had to change my name on Facebook to keep random people from adding me.
Oh,
Like, I used to take the bus all the time, and so I'd get creeps who'd add me on Facebook.
okay.
Because it was so easy to find. All they'd have to do is look up Elmo, and there I was.
Oh, okay.
Weird.
Oh, all right.
Well, my name is Keebler1982 on Twitch, and you'll see me in the chat. That's about all I have.
Yeah, so she's
She's
also
the moderator.
she's also my girlfriend and the moderator. So you've seen those shirts that say "Sleeping with the DM." She's one of those.
Oh,
Which will make sure that she.
but I still can't get the Staff of the Woodlands, so
No, you can't. Stop asking.
I know. I will, that's it. I'm done.
Okay, so we're talking about backgrounds. Then we have to go to. Let's see. It is going to be in the Player's Handbook. You can find some of them in other books. Let's see, what camera am I on here? Let's go to this cam. And we will
So
look at some of these. What we got here?
this is from Xanathar. It's the section called "This Is Your Life."
So, yeah, so in Xanathar's Guide to Everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Xanathar's Guide to Everything. There's Xanathar in the background with his little goldfish. What's the fish's name? I forgot. I know the fish has a name.
Sig.
It's not Siegfried.
No. If you look at the disclaimer at the front and like the early pages, it only has its name in there.
Oh, does it?
Yes, like at the bottom of that page there. It's in the flavor text.
On his pet fish and prized fish. It doesn't actually say his name.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It does say that no goldfish was harmed in the making of this book.
This really close.
Silgar?
Silgar. Yeah, there you go.
Silgar. Okay.
Yeah.
So Xanathar and his pet fish is Silgar. But if you look in Xanathar's guide at the backgrounds, you will find those on page 61. And there are some more options there for you
So
as well.
This is a lot more elaborate. So basically, you roll like for your race, your class, and backgrounds, and then so you get life events, and how many friends and family you have, so you can like auto-generate a more elaborate backstory than just I'm a acolyte. I'm a charlatan.
Like for your druid, for example, it has stuff like I became a druid because I saw too much devastation in the wild places, too much of nature's splendor ruined my despoilers. I joined a circle of druids to fight back against the enemies of nature. Stuff like that.
Okay.
So, but there are background things in Xanathar's, and then we were looking at the ones from the player's handbook, which are on page 121. And you can actually go through here and see for your race on this page here, and I think you can see it pretty well. We'll kind of zoom in a little bit here, and you can actually see it'll tell you what your height and your height modifiers are, your base weight for the race that you're playing. If you're using things outside of the player's handbook, then you'll probably have to look under those descriptions in order to find those things. But
As long as you got that up, will you want to tell me what I could do?
for what part?
The height and weight thing you were just talking about?
Oh yeah, for Drow.
Yep.
So let's see. Base height is 4'5".
Plus,
Height modifier is plus 2d6.
Yep.
And that'd be in inches, I would think. Right?
Yes.
8 inches more.
So 4'5" plus 8 inches would put you at 5'1".
And
So
weight.
you would be 5'1". Your base weight is 75 pounds times 1d6. Two. So 150. What? 150 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just made mine up.
You can do that.
Yeah, you can do that too. That's fine. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're, you're a bigger creature anyway, so you're probably going to be like 6 to 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what the
It,
football
it
thing
had
said,
it gave me a range, and I went kind of in the middle.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, but for background stuff, you have your character details, name, sex, obviously your height and weight. And we just talked about some of that. Does anybody else need height and weight? While
No,
we're
I
here?
already did.
Other physical characteristics. So then we talked about alignment earlier, and most of them are going with like a neutral of some sort, other than your character who is chaotic evil at the moment.
Yes.
Alignment in the multiverse, languages, so languages that you can learn, standard
Ooh.
languages
Oh, I forgot to pick my two.
Yeah, I get a choice.
of a language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to choose something for me that's going to be prevalent in our game?
Yeah, I
No,
need two as
not
well.
really.
All right.
More of them.
I have my learned ones, but I also my
The damn good
ones,
try, though.
But I get to choose two others.
You get to choose 2 more languages.
Yeah,
So you have which ones now?
I have Common, Elvish, and Giant.
Common, Elvish, and Giant, and you get to choose 2 more. So 5 languages.
Yeah, I think that's what they
Holy
said.
balls!
Maybe I should double check if it's 1 or 2.
Outlander, it's one language.
It's 1. Okay, 1. I need
So
one more.
one more. Okay, so you have exotic languages or standard languages. Do you want to know something exotic or standard?
I don't know.
So under exotic, you have like abyssal, those are demons. You have demons, celestials, mind flayers, and beholders, dragons and dragonborn, devils, elementals, fey creatures, underdark traders.
I already know that one though.
Which would be undercommon.
Oh, that's Undercommon.
Mm-hmm.
Would you know?
I don't
Would you
think
know
I
undercommon?
don't think I get that automatically.
No,
What
but
did they
like,
say
you gotta
under
pick,
Drow?
pick a language, right?
I get to pick one from Noble.
Right, but I mean, if you needed a language, like you could technically take undercommon, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, so goblinoids, halflings, orcs, ogres. You can. Well, you already have giant.
Doesn't specify.
Does it give any
gnomish.
languages?
I mean, does
Not
it
even
matter?
common.
Not really. I mean, you just pick something that you think might be cool to know their
under
language.
elf traits.
And then if you run into them in the campaign, then you could speak with them.
Okay, well, maybe I'll do that.
Languages you
Undercommon.
common and elvish.
Okay. Well, that's actually pretty useful, right? Because you're going to be in the Underdark a bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, you're well, kind of.
sort of.
Yeah.
Okay,
Which
I'll
one
do
are you,
undercommon.
you're doing undercommon?
Yeah.
So,
Maybe I should take something more rarefied then.
like Abyssal, Celestial, Deep Speech, Draconic. Maybe you run into a Beholder down there. I don't know. Dragonborn, right?
There's mind flayers and beholders on there. That's
Yeah,
deep
it's Deep Speech. There is no script for that though, so you don't write it.
Okay, I'll take deep speech
Okay.
if that's all right.
Yeah.
Since we already had somebody to cover the trade language.
Personal characteristics. So fleshing out your character's personality, personality traits. They give some examples of what the script looks like if you're looking at Elvish. And you can actually use these, and I've used them in campaigns before, where you can actually write this out in Elvish and then give it to the players. And then they have to freaking decipher it like a decoder pin. Kind of fun to do sometimes. Other parts of the background are going to be the ideals, the bonds, the flaws. And I think I missed one, right? Because there's 4. Oh yeah, personality traits.
You can roll for those.
Yeah.
If you wanna do it
those are
quickly.
basically. Yeah, if you want to do it quickly. But like the background, so the acolyte background, which I've actually removed from this campaign.
Probably not a good example.
But you have the charlatan, the criminal, and then like let's go over yours. What did you do for background? You have the urchin, street urchin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that grant you? As far as the personality trait and the like ideal and bond and flaw.
Well, I kind of did a bit of what I do sometimes when I can't, when I don't have my like personality concept in. I tend to roll on the table, and then look at the choice that I rolled, and then determine if I like that or if I like something better, or if that strikes something in my mind. So. I actually took for personality traits, I had scraps of food and trinkets away in my pockets. So I plan on playing that up as things come into it. And for ideals, I chose the community, and then I added equality to it because I didn't quite like just the community thing on there. And the community thing on there kind of says that, everybody should help each other out and stuff like that. And I wanted to add an equality because I think my character having grown up on the streets, or having been forced to grow up in the streets, but coming with an ideal of kind of a oneness and that people should be treated equally, and then should band together in order to accomplish goals. Because in the Shadowfell, they would have to. It's a dangerous place.
Right.
You need your community around you. Whatever your community may happen to be, you need it around you, and you need it to working in order and to an effect. So that's why I took that. And then for bonds, I went ahead and I owe my survival to another urchin who taught me to live on the streets. And I rolled that one straight out. And then we have to work on that, who that person was, and give him a name, and then you determine whatever his fate is. Who knows?
Okay.
And then for flaws, I put not stealing if I need it more.
Not stealing if you.
It's not stealing. I just wrote shorthand.
Oh,
for
it's
me.
not-
It's
it's
not
not
stealing if I need it more.
Okay, got it.
Grew up on the streets. I need things. Sorry, you should have protected it better.
I need to be eaten. I'm sorry, I spoke with bread. Yeah.
So you have a Fagin figure.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah. Neat. That's fun.
Yeah, without even thinking about it. Yeah.
So if you look through, I'm trying to get the camera on that a little bit, but if you look through any of these backgrounds, you'll see that they actually add things to your abilities. So like you get skill proficiencies that added. So like for the Outlander one, you would be proficient in athletics and survival. Tool proficiencies, one type of musical instrument. Languages, you get one of your choice, which we just kind of talked about because they were picking some languages. And equipment, you get a staff, a hunting trap, a trophy from an animal you killed, a set of traveler's clothes, and a pouch containing 10 gold pieces. Is that the one you chose?
Yeah, but I didn't write all that down.
Oh, well, super.
Yeah.
We have it right here for you.
I know, but I'm gonna also type that stuff out. But I didn't pick out my musical instrument. I did not write down that equipment. But I'm
Well, you
gonna
better hop
do
to it.
that.
Let's get to it.
You know, I'll type it up on my laptop
Let's
and I'll
get
print it out.
let's get to
and
it.
I can read it.
Along with this, though, you get to choose like other things too, right? So on the Outlander feature, it's got the origin, so you can actually roll on this little D10 table here, and it'll tell you you've been to strange places and seen things that others cannot begin to fathom. Consider some of the distant lands that you've visited and how they impacted you. The whole purpose of the background thing is that you can kind of start to personalize your character to the surroundings. This is the sound dropped.
The microphones are off. Are they?
No, I don't think so.
There. No. It was showing something.
Yeah, they look like they're on. Sound dropped like it got quieter, or you can't hear us at all, or I don't know. You want to double check that by turning it up a little bit. Let's see if we can hear the audio.
No.
I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
It was showing something.
So it seems to be okay.
Never mind. That
I don't
was
know. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, Maj. I appreciate that. But that's good. Jump in there.
Yeah.
Let us know when there's some problems because definitely I want to get them fixed as soon as possible. But back to the Outlander origins. You can actually decide whether or not you're a forester or a bounty hunter or a tribal marauder. So it just kind of gives you more of a sense of who you are as a character. Because the whole point of D&D is to become someone else for a little while. It's to role play, and like when you were a kid, it's super important when you were a kid to make believe and to play pretend. And for some reason, we have grown up with this idea that as you become a certain age, all of that stuff is kid shit, and it should go away. And you should be adult about everything now. And so people lose this side of themselves, and they don't play around as much as they should. And D&D gives you a way, and tabletop role-playing games in general give you a way to do that. And this is one way to kind of delve even deeper into your character and become that someone else.
But Josh,
Go ahead.
I was told that D&D would teach me real magic and make pacts with the devil.
In 1981, that's true. You were told that.
I'm disappointed.
The devil stopped doing those deals after the 80s.
So that was
I knew it.
Yeah,
Did that
the devil
I lost too many chess games.
I hate to use a dad joke, but like, what was it, 1981, the devil went down to Georgia, right? So now the devil's no longer involved in D&D.
How does it?
But no, it has. I mean, it's very, society is like that. It's very constraining, and it's like, hey, you have to fit into this box or be in this mold. And D&D and other tabletop role-playing games is a way to break out of that, and it's a very inclusive game for everybody. I think it's one of the games that I found has been very anti. What do I want to say here? Well, it's just very inclusive.
Okay.
A lot of the people that I see playing D&D are, I mean, they're made up of so much different diversities.
Right.
So it's about diversity, even as it is with the races in the game, right? So there's so many different races in D&D, just like there is in real life, right? Well, there is now, right, with all the new books they come out with. But yeah, I mean, it's just very inclusive. I mean, I watch a lot of different tables, a lot of different D&D streamers to see what they're doing and the kind of groups that they have and the group dynamics, and I see everything. I see people that are super inclusive of gay and trans and all that, and I don't see any hatred or, you know what I mean? Like those kinds of things are what I think makes D&D great, right? I mean, It's you can be whoever the hell you want to be, and who you are on the inside, regardless of the game, is also included, right? Because you're a friend at the table, and I think that's a very important part of D&D. Something that gets missed from the time that you played, with your little Tinker Toys or your Batmans when you were 8, and then all of a sudden your parents said, "Put that down. It's no longer appropriate to play with Batman because you're 14 now." And I just think that that's kind of wrong. It's a very limiting thing.
With learning, right? And I started this when I was younger. If you sit down and you memorize a list of the state capitals, right? You know that list of the state capitals. And that's the type of learning you can do when you're alone, right? That kind of individual achievement style learning. But when you're in a group setting and your goal is to add to a story and use the last person's bit of information they used for their part of the story to tell your part of the story and then hand it off to the next person. That's why that kind of inclusivity is fostered inside of this. You can't take some energy from somebody, put your own spin on it, and give it to the next person without that happening.
Right.
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 And with imagination and creativity in that sort of sense, it's more important than rote memorization, because everybody's going to have their information that they've done in their individual achievement, and they've figured out how to do this thing in life through their own experiences. But the point of coming together as a group, and then the thing that I find and I love in role playing, is how do you react to that information that you get from another person? How do you take it for yourself, put your own shine on it, and then how do you hand that to the next person?
Right.
And once you're able to understand that transition to the next thing, that makes you better at operating in groups just in general.
Right. Well, and D&D is like that, right? I mean, it's huge for. I mean, one of the things for the Dungeons&Flagons idea, right, was to put out actual corporate sessions where we DM sessions for corporations and companies for team building exercises, and that's what D&D is team building, right?
Yep.
Working together to accomplish a goal. So it's definitely helpful in a lot of different aspects. I know that a lot of people that suffer from depression play D&D. A lot of people that suffer from other, like autism even. There are some autistics who are really big into D&D that I've read about. And they say that helps them to cope with, the struggles that they're going on internally with. So
Nice.
This is a personal comment, but I was talking to my coworkers about D&D, and my coworker that I'm not too fond of was like, "Yeah, I hated that game, and I've heard a lot of people commit suicide after playing D&D." So what you just said is totally opposite, but he's a very negative guy. I'm just telling you that is not true. I'm sure that's not true, but just the fact that you just said that, and I heard something totally different from some negative.
Well, again, when you said you had that conversation with him, he had only played like 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, and his DM must have been
this was
terrible.
years and years ago when there was a very negative connotation towards tabletop role-playing games,
Yeah.
D&D especially,
Yeah,
because it had monsters in it.
yeah.
And monsters were at that point when it first came out. They were definitely, this whole thing must have been from the devil, because people were dressing up. They would look like witches.
Yeah.
They were sitting around a table, and one guy would have horns on, and this was completely unacceptable then. I mean, we're talking almost 40 years ago now. And
he's kind of old school.
Yeah, well, and again, like you told him,
and
though,
there's nothing wrong with being religious, but he's like over the top,
well, okay, and that's fine
devilish.
too.
So that's probably why he doesn't.
Everybody's
like
going to
it.
have their
So,
opinion
yeah,
on what
exactly.
it is, but I mean, it's like things have changed over the period of time since the last 40 years.
Yeah. I know. I just thought it was funny that.
And you also said that he, like you told him, I think you made a valid point. Maybe he didn't have a great
DM.
DM.
Right.
You know, I mean, it varies on who you have, and if they're able to tailor a story that you're gonna enjoy,
Yeah.
you know, or have fun going through, or whether or not they're gonna railroad you on some ride that
And
you don't want to
allowing
be
you to,
on.
and allowing you to be the character that you want to portray, and not like tell you can't do something.
Tell you can't do something right. And that's another thing that I try not to do is to limit too much stuff.
Yeah.
Most, let's see, like that was that guy's life experience, right? Or
Yeah.
at least what he portrayed
Well, what he portrayed.
as his life experience. So you get to take that improv that he did.
Yep.
You get to bring it in.
Yeah.
You shared it with us,
Yep.
and now we're putting it back out there.
Yep.
That, well, I've known no one that has committed suicide
Yeah. If anything,
during a game, from a game, after a game. I know no one.
Exactly.
And
No
I
one
have-
committed
I
suicide
have
on the way to a
role-played-
game.
I have role played with
I think
literally thousands of people.
Oh, no.
And I've never heard that
if
story.
anything, it helps people like lifts their spirits because you're
Yeah.
you're bonding with people and you're playing, coming
Yeah.
together, and
Right.
yeah.
And it's a
Like I
no
said, it's
consequences
kind of cool.
environment too, which is another
Yeah.
thing that's really wonderful about it. Is
Right.
You get to try on new ideas, new thoughts, new
Yeah.
experiences,
Right.
and
It's make-
and not have to suffer from it. It's just leave it on the table.
I'm pretty sure that guy came into that game ready to hate it, found something to hate about the game, and walked out like, I still hate it. Felt proud about himself. That nerd crap, it ain't for me. I'm above it.
Right. Well, and you know, I get that all the time when I talk to people, and you know, I advertise all the time because I'm on all the different social media, so I get a lot of different comments back to the things that I post, and I get a lot of things from employees and people at my job because I spread it everywhere, and I'm like, hey, you know, my servers, I'm like, hey, follow me on Twitch, you know, blah blah blah, and you know, and I'll kind of hound them sometimes. I'm like, follow me on Twitch, man. Come on, buddy, follow me on Twitch. So they hear about it all the time. And yes, there are times when, you know, some people think it's really cool and they look at pictures of the table and they look at pictures of the miniatures that I've painted or whatever, and they think it's really cool. And then there's other times where they're like, I'm talking about something and I'm like, oh, well, you know, we're going to run a game tonight, but who knows if he's going to do the 2d6 damage that he was going to, you know, or whatever. And it gets a little technical. And then they're like, nerd, you know, but I mean, you know, so you take it everywhere.
Right.
You know.
I met a great guy at work. I was sharing pictures of my miniatures that I had painted, and now he shares with me the drawings that he does. And this guy is an older gentleman. He's a Vietnam veteran, and this new school style art that this guy's into, I would have never guessed
Right.
that he would be drawing hot rod cars with all these weird angles and things like that.
Right.
And from the perspective that he does, I was really impressed by his art. And we've really, you know, just opening that little doorway. You know,
Right.
like I do this thing.
Right.
He shows what he does.
Right.
And we've gotten to be a lot better friends about stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you want to talk about your housemate?
No.
Okay.
No, that,
But,
can,
I
that
think-
can go away in my
All
brain.
right.
It can die.
I think, you know, again, man, that all comes back to that whole inclusivity thing, you know, with D&D just being a way to bring people together. And I think that's really the biggest thing about it. Because you could be from any background, you could be from, you know, anything, and you can still get together and play a game of Dungeons and Dragons and have a good time together, you know?
Actually, I hate
We're all
you all. I'm
different.
just getting off rolling dice and crunching numbers.
Yeah? Okay, well, I don't know if I told you this, there's a Pathfinder game down.
Oh, is there?
Oh, and by the way, the 8-ball said that we're all probably gonna die by session 3.
By session 3.
Sweet. Fantastic.
She asked the 8-ball and it answered her.
So I'm just letting you know that we're probably all gonna die.
That's great.
I have healing word. I can heal at least one person.
Garden
It will be
gnomes.
me.
Garden gnomes.
And I have cure wounds.
Garden Gnome's next.
Garden gnomes.
Do we have, you have the portion for the backgrounds
Yeah,
open up?
that's what I'm
Do we
on.
mind going back to that?
Yeah, what do we?
Because I have
what
not
do we-
done my personality traits, ideals, bonds, or any of that.
for
here for noble.
which one are you? Which background is it? Then?
Noble.
Oh, for the noble.
Starts at the bottom.
All right.
Can't wait for that.
Uh,
I'm assuming that comment is for the dying by session 3.
yeah, dying by section 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Guy, we'll try to make it happen.
No.
So
No, you will not.
Yeah, I looked right at the camera.
Kill Alex first, he says.
Give him the
oh, nice.
DM wink.
You know what happens
I have
to
one fan in the chat.
Or
You won't think.
favorite X-Men quote?
oh, he said
What happens to a toad?
Kill Alex first.
That's what I said.
My favorite X-Men quote: "What happens to a toad when you hit it with lightning? The same thing as everything else."
Let's see. I'm the one casting lightning.
Yeah, that's what would be funny about it.
I explode with thunder damage.
Yeah, so we did your skill proficiencies, tools, all that equipment, right? So what were you? Oh, you needed to go
Personality
and do
trait.
your ideal stuff. Yeah.
Or bonds or whatever.
Personality
You
trait
got
and
those
it's
charts?
on ideals.
Personality trait is a D8, right?
Yeah.
3.
Or
No,
D6.
D6.
Isn't it?
Personality
Or
trait is D8. No one
Yeah.
could
Oh,
doubt
yeah.
by looking at
Oh,
my
yeah,
regal bearing that I am cut above the unwashed masses.
You're cut above.
No one could doubt by my regal bearing that I am a cut above these unwashed.
Perfect. Is that how you're gonna play it?
Something along those lines?
Yeah, you're gonna play
Fun.
him like that?
Sound what? Her.
Her.
Actually.
Play her like that?
Yes.
Okay.
That sound.
She's gonna be very noble.
What could I do to my voice to make it seem more feminine?
Higher pitched.
Sing-songy.
Take estrogen?
That's radical.
Doesn't work.
That doesn't work, does it?
Just
No,
Yeah.
because when your voice lowers, it changes both the structure of your vocal cords in the back of your throat. You have to raise a certain muscle to
Surgery.
get back to a female's pitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you need to have surgery.
I need
No.
to have surgery.
No,
Or would
it
I
takes
just go for a
vocal-
higher pitch?
It takes
Can I do
vocal
that?
training.
So never mind, kill
So-
Chris first.
If you go on YouTube, there's actually a lot of people who give free voice coaching lessons on how to get a female pitch.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say to chat, many have tried. Get in line.
You know what you could do? Valley Girl. Like, oh my god.
Like be the Valley Girl.
So
No one can doubt.
the noble bearing was supposed to be above
Yeah.
the unwashed masses? And the valley
Maybe you got
is
washed.
what gets
Maybe you got washed,
washed
a little,
out.
a little too much.
All right.
A little
So
too
that's
much.
my personality trait.
Hello. Hello.
3.
Here's one. Let's do starting wealth.
No, that's if you don't take the equipment in
Oh, because
your
it gives you the equipment in that.
so you
right?
can choose either equipment or the money. We had a discussion earlier.
Okay. So did everybody get their money then from their equipment stuff?
It comes from their
I haven't
background.
written mine
From the
down yet.
backgrounds?
Yes. You have 10 gold pieces.
Oh, I do.
Yes, it goes into that.
Is there another one? There's ideals and bonds.
Oh,
Yeah, they're right here. They're
Yeah.
D6s.
All right.
Roll, good lady. See what you get.
Thank you. I got
While you're up, can you grab
Four.
ibuprofen?
Power. If I can attain more power, no one will tell me what to do. Parentheses evil.
Oh,
All right.
I got a
That
hit.
works.
And that's my ideal.
Yes.
I also have a note written down here that I want to make fate my slave.
Sure.
I guess that's another way of representing that. Since
Or you could smoke for 20 plus years and still have
Yeah,
a
right into
female
there.
pitch.
so 4 is power.
Yep.
That's nice that it went along with that. And what about bond? Another D6?
Yes.
What else do we need to go into in backgrounds, Jonathan? I know we were talking about that outside. Did we hit it or did we miss it?
Sustain at all costs.
I actually have something I want to add to backgrounds.
Okay.
You can roll another one.
I went on YouTube and I found a YouTuber. His YouTube name is The Great DM. And one of the things he likes to talk about is how to be a better DM, how to be a better player. And I really liked his video on coming up with background. And he has a series of 6 questions about what to think about when generating the background for your character, like everything before level 1.
Okay.
So, for example, the 6 questions are: where was your character born, and how does this shape your character's worldview? Because being
Okay.
born in a certain community, in a
Right.
certain way of life, that's going to shape your worldview.
Right. Right.
And then,
whether you were rich or poor, or grew up in a nice part of town or a bad part of town, or yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Who were your characters' parents and what did they do?
Okay. So getting more into the family side of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the third question is, are the parents still alive? What family is around and who raised your character?
And those might all be different because you might have
Exactly.
family who might have kicked you out or put you with other family members or something like that. Very much real world stuff, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically getting into. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
all that stuff can change your personality, your outlook on life, and everything.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
Right.
And the third question is, why did they leave the life they had? Like,
Why did you leave or why did your
why did your
parents?
character leave
Okay, your character.
the life that they had?
In order to become who you are now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you leave and start becoming an adventurer?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
And what did your character leave behind when they left for the adventuring life?
Okay. Yeah, things they lost or maybe something that maybe items or something that they
Or just family, people.
Yeah.
or family and people, yeah.
Blanky.
Yeah, my blankie.
Pet.
Yeah, yeah.
Bootsy.
And the last one is, what does your character want?
Money. Money.
Like,
Gold, big bags of gold.
yeah.
But yeah, so those are all really good. I mean, as far as coming up with backgrounds, and again, like if you guys wanted to use, I don't have any problem with that. If you guys want to use your own made up background stuff that you guys come up with from questions like that, I think that's perfect. So feel free to write those in.
Okay. I'll write that out and get it all typed up. I can't really focus on coming up with it with everyone talking. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
just
yeah.
homework I'll have for later.
No, that's good. Yeah, yeah. And when we go through the character stuff here in a little while, we're just gonna go over what you guys are, where you're at the moment. So you don't have to have it completely fleshed out.
Not that I want to toot my own horn, but those are the same questions that I asked all of you guys to play in my other camp.
Did you ask
fill
again?
out.
Yeah.
And he, while he has stated that and does use those, he did not come up with those questions. Other people have also used them.
Right, right.
Nice.
Yeah.
But he is a pretty smart guy, and I like his channel as well. So.
Fun. With the number 2 bond I rolled, which was a house alliance with noble houses, very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that kicked into my head is maybe the fall of this character's house in the Underdark was planned with the Bregan Diathra. So like it's a conceit that the house fell in order to pull another house out to take the action of destroying them, so that people could see how their methods were in their destruction. So they had like people ready
To do the
just to see how they did it,
oh,
so they could get their MO,
okay.
and then that would give intelligence to people that weren't living in the Underdark about the Underdark, basically.
Okay. I see that.
So like letting it get destroyed in order to find their methods.
Right.
So I went through Xanathar's real quick while you were talking, and I have a good example of how to. I already have an idea and a concept for a background, but then to use the tables and things that are in there to flush out some things that I hadn't figured or done.
What do you got?
So I just rolled through, just following along with the charts that are in there and doing everything. So I have my parents listed as because I rolled and looked through it as dead, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. Question mark there, because like I said, my character as a child was, thrown out and through to be safe. I have no idea if they lived or not. So
Right.
that's up for you to determine or have happen or, whatever. If I go and try to find them, then maybe that's something that my character wants
I
to
think
do.
your parents are dead.
So. It's perfectly fine. As little work as you want to do. I'm okay with that. But they had an option in there of like, where was this character born? And I rolled on the home of a midwife or a healer. So,
Okay.
you know, you can put that stuff in there. Like, what did your parents do? I put that they, part of a monastic order. My life was comfortable. That's what I rolled on the table. So, a comfortable life in a monastic order. Doing things, probably, you know, sweeping up or just chilling out. Yeah, I rolled a 1 on the sibling table, and I rolled things for that sibling. They are older. I didn't roll a name yet, but they are older. They're neutral good. They're a cleric, and they work as a priest. And we were friendly when I knew them, and I rolled that they're alive and well, but I don't necessarily know that because I've probably never been in contact with them because they probably don't know my outcome, and
Are
who
you
knows
talking about the
if they're or not.
parents?
No,
My
all the
sibling.
siblings.
Siblings.
So
okay.
follow along. My sibling. So I'm just going down the list. One sibling and that's it.
There's
and
only-
then
There's only 25 pages of it backstory. Just pay attention.
there's.
Well, I don't know if you
there's
noticed
only
before, but the
half.
siblings are also dead.
See, that's very possible. I don't know.
So I tell you what, why don't we do this?
And then okay.
Well, why don't we do this? Because honestly, for me to come up with that like on the fly is going to be tough, but I can put that into the session 1. So why don't we take?
Asking you to come up with anything on the fly.
No, I'm just saying, but then I can incorporate that into the story. So if you guys would go ahead and type out little bits of background, and then if you can send it to me within the next 2 weeks before we run again,
Okay.
so that way I can put that into my intro, so that we can introduce your characters, or I could introduce your characters with that background, and then you guys can go through and do your little intros as well. But I can put that into the story part of the intro,
All right.
or something from your backgrounds into
Yeah.
the story part.
I was trying to help people who've never made characters understand how you can have a concept and then still use the tables to flesh.
Yeah,
it.
no, I get it. I'm just saying we're gonna use that. I mean, but just as a side note, send me that too.
Yeah, I will. Because there's
Yeah.
more. There's life events.
Oh, go ahead.
I
Go for your
rolled
life
for
event.
4 life events. It also asks you to roll for like how your childhood was, which you can either roll or pick. And I a lot of times roll and then see if I like it, see if there's a better option, right?
Yeah.
Just because, and then usually if I don't have an opinion, then I'll go with what I rolled with. But sometimes you look at the table and you're like, oh wait, this is better, or maybe I want to combine the two, and that's perfectly okay. Like it says right in the beginning of that entire section that these are just guidelines, not rules. They're not, you don't have to be super hardline about it. You can change it around a little bit, and especially to fit your campaign or your story or whatever you want to do. But for life events, I spent some time working, and I was gonna put in, I can't remember what the guys are called in Waterdeep that clean up the dung, the sewers.
Dung Sweepers Guild.
Oh, okay, so I had it right. Yeah.
Yep.
I worked with them, managed to make 3 gold.
Nice.
I went on an adventure
That's
with
a lot of people.
yeah. I went on an adventure with my buddy, and I came up with his name, the guy that I owe my life to, that helped me survive on the street. Our female dwarf, Dankara Dankill. I'll send that to you as well, so you don't have to worry about writing it down.
Yeah, I was about to.
And we went on an adventure and managed to have 7 gold pieces left after I spent all the treasure and things that we managed to get. And that's all
So
I got
Dan
left.
Cara was your life buddy?
Yeah, Dankara Dankill. And then I had a supernatural experience happen in my life at some point. I woke up one morning miles from my home with no idea how I got there. And then the last life event I had happened to me, which is weird stuff, which has got a table of lots of weird stuff on it. You will not believe that I actually rolled this. I was turned into a toad and remained so for 3 weeks.
That's a talisman reference.
So I know the grown. You've kind of been there before. Then.
That's right.
We
3 weeks.
we meet in the bar. It's like you look at me and go, "I know how you feel," and I kind of look at you and go, "What?"
I was a toad once.
Well, speaking of that, as you're looking up, like how tall is your character then?
He's 2 feet 10.
Okay.
But see, that's the fun thing of like rolling on these tables. You can come up with something. So now I've got like something that my character can reference like all the time, and maybe nobody knows really about it other than I keep telling them this story about I was a toad once. You remember? I remember when I was a toad. People just be like, "Shut up about the toad." It's like you're not a toad.
You can also do like a slow roll on it and be like, man, that's a really tall dandelion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but certainly, what else you got for background stuff?
No, that's it. That's the 4 events. I only rolled 4 life events. I'm young. My character is only like 20 years old.
Okay,
Which is really young for an elf.
right.
So,
Really, really young. You're like a baby.
would be considered an adult. I mean, they grow to adulthood, not considered an adult until, at least have like 3 different careers. And
Yeah, isn't like adulthood in Elvish is like at least 100 years old then?
probably
Something like that?
considered as an adult, but you mature and grow to adulthood at the same rate as a human does.
Yeah.
You're just not
Okay.
in their culture. You're just not considered an adult.
Right, in there, right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
In Elvish culture, though.
Yeah, same thing with a dwarf. Dwarves age just as quickly as humans do, but they're not
Right.
considered until you've been mining for 25 years, and then
Right.
I know next to nothing about the Shatterkai culture.
so. Well, they've changed it around a lot, and I've got to read. To be honest, I need to reread the lore because they've changed the lore in 5e. Because they are now elves, and they were not used to be part of elves. So I have to reread that, but my understanding is that they were just elves that got left in the Shadowfell and then dedicated themselves to the Raven Queen, who I will worship. And the order that I belong to is called the Order of the Bloodless Chalice.
Okay.
That's fun.
But yeah, they work for the Raven Queen, so I worship her and have her goals. And I thought that would be decent connection for our characters, is that you worship a death goddess of some type, or you were going to, or something. I mean, you're doing the dead warlock thing, so.
The Besheba thing is, it's. I think it's going to be an enigma that's wrapped in something else. Hopefully,
Bacon?
covered in at least mystery sauce.
Oh.
Delicious.
So
RDT.
Yes. It's covered in RDT.
well, cool. I really like that background. The tables in there. I'll probably do that myself too.
So we can worship Norse gods, so we can talk about that. You were a frog once.
Yeah.
You worship dark gods. How do you fit in? Quick, find a connection.
You can turn into a
Frog.
Oh yeah, I can turn into a frog.
turn into all of those things.
All right.
Also turn into a bear and eat all of you.
Or a duck.
You know what'd be great is like if you came up and you're like, I'm an animal lover, and then you were like, I'm an animal.
Go over. Oh wait, I can't reach the floor. Good. Don't touch me, and please, miss.
Well, thank you for that background stuff. And like you said, it's definitely there are definitely multiple ways to come up with your background and ideas that you can get to come up with your background. And again, you could just come up with it off the top of your head too. It's just something that helps you to flesh out your character more. And Jonathan made a good point about the fact that you can bring those things up later, like the story about.
Turning into a toad.
Yeah, turning into a toad, and you can, and just like I always bring up stuff when when I was in the Navy, I did this. Well, so then you can bring those things up in the campaign, and it's more, it makes it a little more lifelike. So
Yeah, gives you something to help flesh your character out with. And
right,
those times when you should be chatting in character around with your other characters and stuff like that.
well, I heard one in another stream too that was talking about a bard that. A bard that every time he would get ready to go into combat, he would just play the beginning saxophone part to Careless Whisper. And that would go on every time they were about to start a fight. So, I mean, that's just, it's just, those kooky little things that.
That is the cool thing about Iron Man. Like, he is the only Avenger that can literally just do his own soundtrack. as he goes into fights. And that was what was cool about Dolomite. Dolomite literally had a guy with a boombox that followed him around.
Yeah. Well, what was that? I don't remember. There was an old school 70s, 80s movie that the dude was like, yeah, no, I was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like, oh, yeah, you got your own theme music? And he's like, yeah, and the dude's walking and he's got the band behind him playing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm gonna get you sucker.
No, I'm going to get you, sucker. Yeah. Is that what it was? Yeah. He's got the guy behind him playing, and I'm like, oh, my God. Yeah.
So are you trying to say that Iron Man is a artificer bard?
Yeah. Armor, artificer, bard.
With some levels of forge cleric. Yeah.
White Mage says, what is everyone for the kids that were late to class? Oh, what is everyone? Oh, we're about to get into that, actually. We're going to go around the table. What else did we need to discuss besides backgrounds, then?
I think those are really...
We're just gonna
Name,
tell names.
We're talking names, backgrounds.
Yeah, I think we did the names thing, because we touched on that.
Yeah,
how to
we
use
talked
cards
about
for that.
names and stuff, but...
Yeah, we can finish up with like one last round of here's my character and my character.
Yeah. So let's do that. So why don't we go around? Did we all come up with names then?
Yeah, no, I'm still working on mine.
Okay.
Do you
I mean,
want
what do you
I want that
want?
table.
Like, what
Just one
are
there.
we talking about?
No.
So why don't you go through your character sheet and just tell us about yourself and
on.
like maybe your abilities, traits, things like that. You know, all these like these things up here and
Health names.
Okay.
yeah. Just talk about your character. Tell us again start off with your name, your class, your race, and what you're going to be playing in this campaign.
Okay, my name is Melissa, and my character's name is Keebler. I'm a druid, furbog, outlander. I am neutral good. I am proficient in intelligence, wisdom, animal handling, medicine, and survival. Yeah. My personality trait, I am driven by the wanderlust that led me away from my home. Ideals, honor. If I dishonor myself, I dishonor my whole clan. Bonds, I suffer awful visions of a coming disaster and will do anything to prevent it. And flaws, I remember every insult I've received and nurse a silent resentment toward anyone who's ever wronged me.
Wow.
That's gonna be great as characters.
We're gonna get along great.
You remember every insult. So you know now throughout the whole campaign you're going to have to remember anytime you were insulted
Yep.
and bring that back up later.
Yep.
See,
Okay.
you should have been a dwarf. That way you could have a book of grudges.
Yep.
So we have Druid Furbog Keebler.
Yep.
And anything else you want to tell us about yourself? What kind of weapons are you going to be carrying? You're using some Druid craft magic, right?
Yeah.
And you have...
A javelin and a scimitar.
Okay. Cool, very cool.
Yep. And that's about it.
Alex, what do you got?
Well, my character concept was basically Throg from the Marvel comics. So I'm a Grung cleric Tempest domain.
And for those who don't know what a grung is, it's like
It's
a
a
frog.
frog.
Yep. Frog-like creature.
It looks like this.
Nice.
His name is Tezcatlipoca, which a lot of people find really hard to pronounce.
Yeah, like your DM.
Yeah, so he has a given name from his Order of Thor, which is more an Odin frog.
You are so lucky I'm playing classy, because if I wasn't, you would so be getting called testicle all the time.
May still happen.
He's
Passive-aggressive. Do it.
Testicles, I love it.
Testicles. Yes, the Greek one. I'm driven by the vision I've received from Thor to go spread the good word of Thor and glory. His ideal is to spread the word of Thor to the greater world. His bond is to bring terrible wrath onto evildoers and the people who try to work against Thor. His flaw is that he's overconfident, and he tends to bite more than he can chew because he has a vision from Thor that he's going to bring the word of Thor to the evildoers.
Nice.
So he can just kind of charges, hammer up, and is like, yes, for Thor! Even though it's like a 2 foot tall frog. But yeah,
And how do I spell his name so I can write it down?
Morin is Moryn.
Moryn.
Yes,
So Morin.
Morin.
And that would be the name he'd go by, right?
Yes, that's his new given name.
Okay.
His actual, growing name is.
So I feel like Morin's going to be way easier for me.
Yes.
Do you want us to fill out
Flavor.
those names while we're doing
Yeah,
that?
no, we'll do that after
Oh,
the
okay,
character
never
stuff.
mind.
But yeah, I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a warhammer as a weapon, and he can cast spells.
Right on. And you, sir.
Hi. I got a name. Oh. Shinerla.
Shanerla?
Mm-hmm.
You're not-
S-H-A-N.
Hold on. S-H-A-N.
Air. La.
Air.
A-I-R.
L-A.
Yep. Shinerla.
Shanerla.
Sounds
Okay,
like
no.
There you go. What else are we talking about? Oh, I've got proficiency with drow weapons, rapier, and a hand crossbow, which I'm very proficient at, and I do a lot a damage with. I'm also a warlock, so I'll be smacking people with my Eldritch Blasts. And I have a form of dread that I can go into, where I basically, the way I'd like it to sort of express itself is I basically just leech the luck out of people. And they can tell that fate has abandoned them. Rather than being but that's my form of dread that I get from Bashaba. Which gives me temporary hit points, D10 plus my warlock level. And if I hit them during the minute that this is on, they need to make a DC 14 wisdom check or become frightened of me until the end of the next turn.
Okay.
And I get to do this the number of times of my proficiency bonus before a long rest. So yeah. That is, and I got some leather armor and a high AC. What else?
your bonus or personality trait.
Oh, I thought we went over that earlier. Oh, yeah. My personality trait is that I am above the unwashed masses, which should cause some interesting role play between me and the street urchin.
Yeah, also the entire fate idea that you're leeching and changing people's fates and
That's
sucking
bad.
that out. Oh yeah,
That's
Raven
bad.
Queen's all about fate.
Oh, sorry.
Someone with luck.
It's on that note, my goal is to make fate my slave. And I seek power above all other things. And my bond is basically the fact that I'm up here with Bregan Diothra because of Underdark shenanigans. And my flaw is, in fact, the world does revolve around me. So, I mean, is that a flaw, or is that just like stating fact? That's just stating fact. So,
Can you please?
Thanks, Chris.
I've made some choices in my life that aren't necessarily about that, but okay.
Elmo,
Maybe
you're
I
up.
put myself off like that. Maybe.
Tell us about your character.
My character is named Cade Cinderbelly.
How do you want me to refer to you? The whole
Cade.
thing? Okay. Cade?
Yes.
How do you want me to spell that?
C-A-D-E.
C-A-D-E. Got it. Tell me about you.
I am a bard, a Lightfoot halfling, with the charlatan background. I worship Loki
Okay.
and find pranks to be quite fun.
Okay. Well, you'll have fun in the first part of this adventure then.
I am proficient in dexterity and charisma, acrobatics, deception, performance, sleight of hand, and stealth.
Okay.
My personality traits are that I pocket anything I see that might have some value. I am a free spirit. Nobody tells me what to do. My bond is a powerful person killed someone I love. Someday soon, I'll have my revenge. And my flaw is I can't resist a pretty face.
Oh. Okay. So I just need to make all the monsters super pretty.
Succubuses, Sphinx, Dryads.
Tiara
Yeah.
on a beholder with lipstick.
This Roper monster has some lovely gems set in these rocks. The sheen on them is just
Amazing.
This tree and just standing there erect.
What else do you have anything else about your character, Elmo, that you want to say? What, did you go to the background stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, you said the background.
yeah, I did.
Oh, weapons. I have a rapier and a dagger, and I'm wearing leather armor.
Okay. All right. And Jonathan?
Malquis
How
Yaldrin.
am I going to spell that?
Malquis.
Okay.
Yaldrin.
Oh, I got to say the whole thing.
Yaeldrin. No, you do not
Y-A-L.
have to refer to him.
I can say
Esquire.
Malquis.
I will totally do that.
What was the last name?
I said no. Yaldrin.
Yeldrin.
Yaeldrin.
Got it.
Esquire.
Esquire?
No. Only when he has to deal with people like that. No. As I said before, he likes to hide scraps of food and other things, trinkets away in his pockets. Not necessarily things of value, but maybe things of value to him, or could be of value later. Kind of a scrounger. Believes in community and equality. Again, our characters are just going to bounce off each other here. I owe my survival to another urchin who taught me how to live on the streets. That would be Dan Kill. And then it's not really stealing if I need it. 'Cause
Right.
People, you just got to survive, and that's
Yeah.
what you do to survive. Is sometimes
You got to
have
eat. You're
take
taking
things.
that loaf of bread.
That's right.
Yeah.
I need it.
Jean Valjean.
That's right. I had to
One more.
feed my
day.
wife and kids that I'll never see again after any more of that story.
Just to make us the miserable.
He prefers his longbow over his short sword and daggers. To have managed to slap together a suit of leather armor.
Okay.
Proficient in things that I need to know on the streets, like thieves.
Okay.
Nice.
So
Cool.
acrobatic-y, I think.
Right.
So, done lots of different odd jobs and stuff throughout the city of Waterdeep, and that's about it.
Cool.
Dung sweeping.
Dung sweeping, it's very important, dude.
You find out where people don't go.
Right.
Very good.
Yeah.
So,
Let somebody shut down the sewage system in the city. See how long that lasts.
White Magi says, I totally see Chris and Elmo stealing the first pretty from each other over an extended period of time.
Don't steal. I don't need to steal. I'm rich.
I have all the pretty I can handle.
Are you? You have all the see it. See all the money.
I'll show you.
Alright.
It's right in here. Just the Breaking Diathri have a bunch of it. Take it.
Unbelievable.
That's mine, really. They just don't know yet.
So we got through the character descriptions. One thing that just before we leave you here, as I'm getting ready for a campaign, I like to use, and I guess I'll put it on here real quick. So they don't promote me or pay me in any way, but I love these things. They are from Top Dog Games. These are called stat trackers. And they have the monsters. If you're a DM, they work great. They have the monster stats right here on it. It shows you all of their pluses to hit, all of their damage rolls. It tells you what some of the brief descriptions of the damage that they can do. On the back, a lot of them have, if they have a lot of stuff, legendary actions and so forth, it'll have the continuation. And then I usually take those and then I will fold the top, and hang them right over the DM screen for the players to see what they're fighting. The new version of these is coming out in October. They have pictures. Yeah, you've looked at them then, obviously. They have pictures on them for the players to see, and they're coming out with, I think, another 200 monsters, maybe. I think the next group is like 200 monsters, so I'll probably be getting that one. But again, Top Dog Games, they make these things. They are really cool. I like to use the blanks to give to the players, and then I have them fill out basic information on here. They don't have to go through and fill out all their skills. I don't need to know all that. Saving throws and things are sometimes useful, but they don't really need that. But as long as they have like your main stats and your name and race and character info on here. And I like to give these out to the players. I'm going to have you guys fill these out for me now so that I can get things set up for our first session. Woohoo! And then again at the top, make sure you turn that upside down to do it because it's going to be hanging over a board. But you guys have done this before. But again, Top Dog Games, they make some cool stuff. Just kind of want to pump their product a little bit because those are super useful. And I also use them, of course, for initiative tracking, right? So if I hang them over the board, then when you watch us play, and you might have seen it already in our test streams, you know, I use those during the Strahd campaign, and I hang them over the DM screen, and then I just move them based on where their initiative rolls were. So it just makes it really easy to track initiative that way. You don't have to write everybody's name down and try to figure it out. So super useful tool. So they're filling out their little stat trackers now for me to use during the game. And we are, does anybody have anything else that they want to add to this live stream?
Merch store.
Merch store. Yeah, so let's go to the map cam. Oh no, I'm going right down to the map cam.
Check it out.
Yeah, merch store. So make sure dungeonsandflagons.net. We have the shirts that you see me wearing. Keebler's wearing one of those shirts as well. Alex has bought some merch and has the audio bottle there with him.
Stickers.
And the stickers. Some pretty cool stuff that we have on dungeonsandflagons.net.
Mugs. Mouse pads.
Dice. Yeah, of course they're coming from China, and they only take 7 weeks to get to you. But other than that,
those it only took like.
Well, that was from the U.S. though.
Yeah, everything I bought was from the U.S.
Yeah, those were all from the U.S. But the some of the dice and some of the other things, like the goblet that's on there, it looks really cool. But those things are coming from China, and they do take a little longer to ship and to get to you. So be aware of that if you do go to those sites to check those out. Anything else?
Yeah. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity for doing this. I think it's really fun, and I appreciate all the time and energy that you put into setting up this whole thing.
Right.
Absolutely. It's really cool to see. I've seen your brain as it clicks around a story. I had never seen your brain clicking around like technical stuff or setting up this sort of aspect, and it's really fun to see you go through that process.
It's not been fun to go through the process.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
I just
great.
think you've learned a lot, and you've done a lot for this, and I just want to say how grateful I am.
Yeah, well, thank you.
That. That's really fun, and I'm happy to be here and be a part of.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that you guys come here every week, you know, and that we do this thing. So, and thank you for being a part of the live stream. I mean, I could have said, hey, I'm going to stream this thing, and, you know, half the players at the table said, I don't want to be a part of it. Yeah, and they vanish and my whole group disappears. So I really appreciate the fact that you guys are giving it a chance, you know. So.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, it's been super fun actually learning all this stuff. It's been very time consuming and you know, obviously, you know,
expensive. And
my girlfriend has sacrificed a lot in the way of spending time with me and things like that we have not, you know, that I've been more focused on handling this. So. And hopefully those things will level out here soon. And now that we have the studio is essentially done now, it's a studio, man. I don't care what you want to say. I'm calling it a studio till the end of time.
The man?
Yeah, the man cave. But, you know, it's, you know, I like to think of it as a studio. I'm going to be doing some other projects too in the future. I plan on doing some miniature stop motion animation. I'm going to actually try to start a series doing stop motion animation, and making some little movies, maybe 20, 30-minute movies out of. So that's going to be quite a lot.
Ambitious.
Yeah, so I think that that'll be a cool project. Obviously you guys are more than welcome to help with any of that kind of stuff too. If you want to do voiceovers for the characters in that or things of that nature too. So think about that. Yeah, and I really appreciate the the people, the viewers that come to watch. I realize that we're little, we're small, we're growing, so we don't have like a consistent viewer base most of the time. But I think over time, I think that'll grow up some. So
Remember to follow us and share with your friends. So
That's
we can
right.
grow.
That's right. Growth is great. Anything anybody else wants to say before we end up ending this session?
Nope.
Nope.
He says, sound paneling looks great.
Oh,
Good.
yeah, the sound paneling looks good. Well, thanks to Jonathan here, we got some of the sound paneling up, and then I finished it with the help of Keebler over here, who graciously devoted her time to cut tape. And,
A lot of fun.
Yeah, so
So
we
much
got
fun.
most of it up. I got a couple patch parts here that need to be done, and the rest of the ceiling there, I think I'll probably keep the wall just for the lighting aspects. So there is a little bit left to do, but probably, that's probably a day, so it really isn't much.
Tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow.
I helped. I stuck one.
Oh, he
You
did.
did. You stuck one in the ceiling. So let's not count out the little things. We need to make sure we.
Oh, and your daughter did a couple.
Yep, and my daughter did a couple too. Yep, that's true. Yeah.
No?
I think I do want to thank everybody who's shown up to watch us on this. Session 0 is not always super exciting to watch, but it is kind of important for your campaign and stuff like that. So I
And
think,
it's informative for new players.
yeah, I hope we have been. Anyways, and I want to thank you for joining and watching us for that, because it's not always super exciting. There's not,
Right.
not a lot of, well, I guess
Right.
we are kind of active around the table, but
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good thought.
So TPK next session, right?
TPK.
We gotta beat to the third, right? We gotta get in front of that magic 8 ball and just no, we choose when we die.
Do you want me to ask again and see if I get a different
We get
answer?
one more. Let's get one more.
No.
Let's get one more Magic 8 Ball. Will a character die in the first session?
And who was it? I get to die first according to
Wait,
chat.
hold on. How do
That's
you...
gonna be fun.
I forgot how to do this. Oh.
That's true. All your friends are on screen, White Magi. You're right.
Is it? Oh, yeah. I just did this. Okay, what do you want me to say?
When the first.
No. Just say, will a character die in the first session? That'll be the question.
I don't think I've ever done that in my years of playing.
what?
Killing a character for a session.
Oh, I have. But I didn't
All
like that
right.
player.
While you're doing that,
I've done it as a player and as a DM.
so I'm just gonna do a quick outro. I'll do a quick outro and then we'll go ahead and end the stream, guys.
8 Ball says forget about it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, so nobody will.
No one will say
Oh,
Forget
that'd be
about
great.
it.
Hopefully the 8 Ball's right.
Thanks, Dave.
Again, I just want to thank you. I'm Jillitized, coming to you from Twitch TV. I want to thank you again for coming in and viewing the stream. And if you're coming in later and watching it later, because some of them do get quite a few views later on, I just want to thank you for giving us a shot, because a lot of time and effort has gone into trying to put this together, and it's super exciting to have people that are actually going to follow along and see this story unfold with us. So we will be streaming on Thursday nights, 8 o'clock. At the moment, it's every other Thursday. So 2 weeks from tonight, we will be back on at 8 p.m. And if you want to catch me, you can catch me on Thursdays and Fridays. I will be streaming again tomorrow, starting probably a little earlier than today. I started late today. Normally I start at 10. Tomorrow I'll probably start at 9. I'm going to be probably looking at either Bless or Baldur's Gate tomorrow. And I may even get into some Hearthstone games just to get back into the ladder again for a little bit. The other one that I was thinking about is I may do some MTG Arena. because I have not played any of that yet. So I may get into that a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Again, I want to appreciate all of you guys for checking us out. I appreciate my group for being here tonight and coming and spending so much time with me and dedicating their, well, especially in some of your cases, dedicating your time to making great things for campaigns or set design, you know, scenery, coming and helping me out to put up some of the studio stuff.
Hopefully, I will remember to take some pictures and video of the process and not just the done product.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because
You can throw those up for people.
oh
curious
yeah,
to see.
well I would, yeah, I wouldn't mind putting any of that stuff. I can put it together and put it on YouTube for you. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be great. I think yeah, and that might take off too. So
I'm just saying, you gotta hit me without mentioning that comment.
I've got 50-50 odds on party murdering Chris in under 3 sessions.
I would really prefer that if it was my character.
See,
Jonathan, there might be scissors behind you.
we need to bring back the devil from Georgia.
Actually,
So we
there's
can do our-
a sword on the
Actually,
wall.
there's even better. There was a knife back there.
Yeah, there's a knife back there or a sword on the wall.
No!
Blood sacrifice.
I'm kidding.
So,
All I need is this mechanical pencil.
Appreciate it.
so if you just joined the stream or if you've been following along and you haven't dropped a follow yet, please do that. We're almost affiliated, and I think that's a pretty super achievement. I think I've been streaming for right under 2 months now, and if we can get affiliated in that amount of time, I think that's pretty good. I count that as pretty good anyway. I'm sure there are some that could do better, and there are probably lots that do worse. So we'll take what we can get. And thank you for joining us. I think we're gonna sign on. So.
Yeah, yes.